All right, David said we live, but let's get a couple seconds for YouTube to pick up. Make sure everybody can hear and see us. Talk to the chat. All right, let's do it. Hey, Dave, can you check your YouTube real quick? There you go. All right, we live. What's going on, family? We live, Dave.
How live are we though? Like super live?
We all the way live. What's going on, everybody? Where y'all coming from? Spam the chat. We want to know where y'all coming from. Hey,
Yeah, let's
YouTube.
see the chat. Let's turn the chat up. I'm playing this. What's up? What's up? I don't think I've been live in a minute. So you already know how we do. Hey, we tired of people telling you hope with no instructions. So what we doing is changing the game. So what we here to do is give you the information that changes situation only with implementation. So based off of, I know you got a lot of things going on. I don't know if you have bad credit. I don't know if you have good credit, but whatever you have, we're trying to give you the information so you can get $100,000. So you can use that money to get income producing assets and bring it in like clockwork. So we're going to bring in a lot of people, a lot of different guests, talking about what would he do with the information they know now to get to $100,000, or how would they leverage $100,000. We're going to talk everything about credit, business credit, how to get income producing assets, and based off of their stories and what they've been through and their struggles and things like that when it comes to business. So you don't have to make the same mistakes they did when it comes to business. So it's going to be a good one. Hey, Mike, you ready?
Oh yeah, always ready. You know how the military do.
Hey, so we're gonna bring the first guest up. I'm gonna bring the first guest up, and we're gonna talk to him now. This guy right here, hey, is amazing. He's a part of the team. He know how to get you over $100,000, 200,000, 500,000, all depending on what you got going on. So we're gonna bring him up. His name is Tristan, and we're gonna talk business.
All right, yeah. So Tristan's been in the industry for more than 6 years. He helps startup businesses get access to capital. So we're going to ask him a couple questions. And before we do that, what we want you guys to do is, we want you guys to share this live video with two or three friends or family, because as Dave always say, we got to give out all the information to everybody, because with access to information, we can change our lives. But implementation is the most important step. So I'm about to
let me know where y'all coming from. Let me know where y'all coming from. Where y'all coming from? I see people coming from Arizona, Tampa, California. Oh, y'all up early. Chicago. I heard this. What's up, Diamond? What's up, Eric? What's up? And one more thing. Share it to 5 friends. I know you got 5 close friends. You got to share it to at least 5 friends. We're trying to turn up on YouTube today.
All right, y'all. Like I said, we have Tristan. Tristan been in the game over 6 years, and he specialized. He's part of the team and specializes in getting business funding for startups, and also giving out more education. Because Dave's channel is a credit repair channel, they put us in that box. Whenever we share information about business funding, it doesn't get as many views. So what we want you guys to do is share it with everybody, because you already know we're gonna tell y'all the truth, everything y'all need to do from step A to step Z. Hey, look, this is the place to be. Oh, your boy got bars. All right, Tristan. I hope I did your introduction well.
Outstanding. Good morning. Good morning. How we doing, everybody?
Hey, we doing good. Did I miss anything? Because I don't
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay. All right. So we got a round of questions to get to, especially about getting business funding, because a lot of people don't know the steps, and we here to let the world know. Give me a second. Let me pull up these questions. All right. Hey, go ahead, Dave.
All right. So based off of what you know now, right? Ooh. Hold on.
Oh, you supposed to tell him to get something to drink. You supposed to get something to drink. All right. While Dave doing that, I'm gonna ask the question. All right. So how can you help people get access or to earn $100,000? That's the question.
All right. So I can answer that in 2 different ways. To help a business get access to $100,000, one, they don't have to be in business. They can have a business idea. I'll actually help them form their LLCs. I'll help them form their entities to get everything in line to start going towards business funding. On average, what do the person need to have in order to get access to 100,000?
Mhm.
You need to have a good credit score. That's one thing.
Hold on. See, we could talk about good credit, but like, what's the not exact score? Like, what is the bare minimum?
Good question. 680 is the bare minimum. Banks look at credit scores last. That's the last thing they really look at. Most people don't know that. They look at credit history first. So minimum 680 can get you funded. But if you have a good credit history, meaning you do have a trade line that's been reporting over 7 years, that trade line may be over 10K, now you got fired. If that trade line is with a major bank, Navy Fed, Chase, Citibank, you got fired.
Oh man, that's so dope. All right, so
hold on, Mike. So you said credit history.
Credit history.
What type of credit history do they need on their credit profile?
No late payments, no collections, no mispayments. Debt to income ratio, utilization. Utilization has to be low. With high utilization, can you still get funding? Of course. But with lower utilization, it open things up to get more funding.
So did you see a certain type of criteria when it comes to utilization, like under 50%, 30%, 10%? Like what is like the range? I know 0 is amazing, but like what do you see typical on a day-to-day basis?
So client is case by case basis, but on average, I try to look at a client to have at least under 30% utilization. If they're under that, it opens doors up immediately and even more. I have had clients that was in that 50% utilization mark. I couldn't secure the most funding I can get for them, but I still help get them $30,000, $60,000. But with your all depends on your trade lines and your utilization. If that is low, we can get more money for that business.
Yeah, so when we was fixing credit, we started this small group where we were helping people get funding as well. So we were telling people to wait, until your cards report so you can get under 10%. And what we saw was crazy. And I know you see it all the time. The difference between getting credit when your utilization is under 10% and under 30% is drastically different. So she went to Navy Fed and she got a credit card, one of the credit cards. It was like $3,200. She was excited, but me and Dave were like, yo, that's kind of low for the average person. I think that's a lot. So the next month after everything reported and her utilization was under 10%. Now I'm almost certain that the relationship she created with the bank and the low utilization played a factor, but then she got approved for a $20,000 credit card.
Yes.
Is that normal?
Yes.
Like, is that normally?
Yes.
And also, so with a person that has a new LLC, because you say you can get people that's like got a new LLC, just started, on average, how much you think you can secure?
On average?
Yeah, on average, like based off all the people that came through your program or came through the funding, on average, like a person that's just brand new, created LLC tomorrow, and they want like, yo, my credit score good, Tristan. Talk to me now. How can I get some money? Like,
I want to be very clear when I say this. On average, anywhere from 20 to 50,000. However, we can go up to 300,000.
Ooh. Hey, hold on, one more time. You can go.
So on average, anywhere from 20 to 50,000. That's what's with the average person. 700 credit score, a few different revolving trade lines, maybe a mortgage. But we can go up to 300,000.
Okay. Hey, let's go ahead and blow through these questions because the chat got some questions. I want to get to them. All right. So, how do you leverage credit in your profession, though?
In my profession, oh man, one, to manage my money, manage my expenses, but to pay employees, pay for marketing and advertisements, pay for gas to get to work. But I leverage my credit, one, to manage my expenses, one, to get points off of doing so, and to pay for marketing. It's a few different ways we can actually do that, but that's the main reasons I leverage my credit.
Man, it sounds like what we do. Hey, I'm like, hey, send me that invoice that I can pay with a card. Because
Exactly.
I think the one thing I learned, and Tanya's told me the other day as well, if you got the money in the bank, use the credit card and just pay the money to the credit card. If you can't do it in less than 24 hours, don't do it. Don't use that credit card. Dave, got anything?
Yeah. So what are the common types of funding you can get?
The common types, the most common, especially for startups, is business credit cards. That's the most common. Now, if these are businesses that's been in business for 2 years plus, they can qualify for business term loans, business lines of credit. But the average, the norm is business credit cards.
And what these business, like on average, when you see people with these business credit cards, what can they do with it?
Everything. Everything. So it all depends on the buyer.
If I say it is good, but I want you to say because you're the business and you
Exactly.
got the back door, and people don't know that you can actually, use these business credit cards for anything.
So I actually operate 3 businesses, and all 3 of my businesses operate with business credit cards. I don't use term loans. I use business credit cards. I pay my invoices with business credit card. I pay my vet bills with business credit cards. You can do everything with it. It's third-party websites you can utilize to, if you need cash, you can use your credit card with a third-party website to liquidate those credit cards. So now you have liquid cash.
Oh yeah, man. Because I tell people not to get any term loans because specifically, as soon as you get the loan, your clock starts. So now you gotta already start making money. With credit cards or lines of credit. You can wait, do your research. We call it learning while you're earning, because even though you got the capital, like they won't close the credit line until like a year or 2 if you don't use it.
Right.
All you gotta do really is go get gas and then come back, and then now you got another year. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So with the term loans, it's like, all right, I'm forced to either learn or implement. So you might be putting yourself in a position to make a mistake. So I want to ask you one more thing. What do you wish you knew about credit before you became an adult or started a business?
Man, that question is crazy, because if I'd known what I know now about credit, let's say when I was first year into the military, I was in the Navy too, first year into the military. If I know now what I know about credit, every few months, yes, I'll be applying for a new credit card, but I'll also be opening up a new business every 6 months.
Oh my God.
And
you gotta explain that, because we have people that don't understand that. So what do you mean by open up a new business?
Start a new entity, because we're entities, right? And you can own multiple entities at a time. I know people that have 20 entities and more. Every 6 months, I'll probably start a new entity with a business idea that can soon create something. But in the meantime, it's giving me access to money. It's giving me access to business capital, working capital of money that I can utilize at a later date.
So you telling me I can go get 5 business LLCs, and then I can go get funded for each one, and I can get up to, what you say, $300,000 for each one?
By utilizing your personal credit, you can maybe do 1 or 2, and within a year frame. But if you have a team built upon you, if you have what I say, a credit partner, a guarantor, if you have a team built upon you on building an empire, yes.
Dang. So, all right. I know I understand, but I want to explain for everybody else. So you specifically said the word team, which means that you have the vision, somebody else can have the credit, and you can probably do a JV venture.
100%.
Joint venture. All right. So for example, I got a trucking company. It's called Mike's Trucking, and my credit ain't that good. So I can create an operating agreement, which is pretty much like a partnership with Dave Cousins. And I can say, hey, bro, can you go get me a truck? My credit's bad. I know you the credit guy. And as long as everything's in order, he can fund my business.
He can fund your business as a guarantor, yes. We would use Dave's credit profile to be a guarantor for, in this situation, a business term loan or a business credit card. We would use Dave's credit to establish that credit card relationship with your trucking company. That relationship will report under your business EIN number, but Dave will receive an inquiry under his credit.
Oh, and Dave wasn't even mine, because guess what? He don't want to be in business. He want to be an investor.
Okay.
So Dave about to create passive income off of my ideas and my work. Woo!
So basically, a person don't really need to have the idea. A person working a 9 to 5, as long as they trust the person that's already had the business idea, already have the business plan, they can fund it and get money coming in like clockwork, as I always say. That's crazy.
That just seems too easy. Like, tell me it's not that easy. Make it harder for me.
Is that easy?
So, like, one individual can start up 2 LLCs and get up to about $100,000 for each, and take that money and invest. Correct? Or you said they can have like a team of people that they trust and get them funding as well. They leverage their credit and get funding as well.
For that business, correct.
Man, that's crazy. Hey, periodically I'm gonna be putting up testimonials on the screen from people that we help throughout, and we're gonna be answering questions that way as well, Tristan. All right.
You got it.
Sam Collins, you're
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, Sam? Hey, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you putting in the work. Hey, I'm glad that your credit score went up 100 points. I had your credit score go up 100 points. Hey, once you get, I don't know where you are at, once you get above 680, let's say 700, hey, we want you to get $100,000 so you can get some money, put it in, I call real, which is real estate, and get some money coming in like clockwork, and you don't got to worry about it.
All right, Tristan, do you know, can we use this money to invest in real estate as well?
Yes. I work with a lot of real estate agents and a lot of fix and flippers. Yes, you can.
All right, so we got a question for Lori. We want you to answer. Can you see the questions on the screen, Tristan?
I cannot. All I see is Sam Collins.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna bring Lori's question up, but I'm gonna read it to you so you can answer it. All right.
Okay.
All right. She said, "How do you buy a house with business credit?"
Nice. So to buy a house with business credit, that's a good question. It all depends on how much the house is. So I actually have a client. So this is actually great. So a guy, he's buying a house for $65,000. He has business credit cards. Now, if that buyer, if that seller is able to accept the credit card payment, you can do so. If not, then now you got to get those cards liquidated. So if you have a business line of credit rather than a business credit card, you got a checkbook. You can write a check to yourself or write a check to that seller from your business line of credit and purchase that property.
Oh yeah, fact. So my HELOC is a line of credit as well. Well, HELOC is the second mortgage on your house that you get when your house appreciates in value. So you'll go to the bank and say, "Hey, my house is worth $200,000. I purchased it for $150. Can I get $50,000?" That's just rough, but it's not going to be exact, all right? So they gave me a credit card. They gave me a debit card, and in the bank it showed $50,000. So what I did was I used that card to I didn't know at the time, Tristan. So don't laugh at me when I tell you I cash advanced most of my stuff and got a horrible interest rate. But I bought my house straight out. So is it something like that?
How do you buy a house with business credit?
Sort of, kind of. Actually, yeah. So you can get a home equity line of credit. If you have a home equity line of credit, they do have business equities, like business home equities. But in this situation, you use a line of credit. And that line of credit, you can take out cash to purchase that property. And it is a tax deduction. Most people utilize their business credit cards to now do the fix and flip. And this is all a way that you can keep track of your expenses and tax deductions.
Oh, man.
So basically, for Lord or Miss Miller, what she would do is leverage her credit. So we're going to do it step by step. She will leverage her credit, right? Step one, leverage her credit. Her credit score is good based off of what you already know. She will get access to, let's say, $200,000 in business credit cards at 0% interest, or a different type of interest rates, of course. And then she would liquidate that $200,000 and go buy a house.
And it all depends on if she's trying to buy this house for an investment or she's trying to buy this house to live in. Is she trying to buy this house for her business? Because you can get it to different products. If she's buying this house to operate a business out of, you may want to do a commercial loan. Mm-hmm. But if you want to get into buying a project house to a fix and flip, and this house is under $100,000, and you buy it because you plan on selling it in the next 3 months, then yes, you can use your business credit for it. But if this is going to be a long-term project, you're going to be here for a while, I wouldn't utilize a line of credit. That's because of interest rates. I would use a commercial mortgage because that's tend to be the best product to get a lower rate.
Oh man, that's dope. All right, let's move off that.
Well, she said she want a duplex.
She want a duplex to rent out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Depending on how much it costs. Me as a business consultant, us as business consultants, depending on how much it costs. If it's more lucrative for her to do a commercial loan or commercial mortgage, let's go that route. But if she's planning on purchasing this building in, let's say, cash, if it's not that much, if she do have liquid cash in her business, go for it. I don't want that business to be in a situation where they're paying too much interest and actually missing out on income coming in.
Ooh, that's an excellent question. And I want to tell everybody out there that some people don't have your best interest in heart when they tell you to do certain things, especially on the internet. So here, what you're going to get is a person saying that, hey, don't do this because of this. Even though he can help you get it, he want to put you in the right position. But I want to kind of veer off that because I want to answer a wide array of questions because, you know, if we stick to houses, then somebody's going to get all their questions answered and everybody's going to be left high and dry. So I want to ask you some more generalized questions. All right. So what are some of the misconceptions people have about business funding that you believe?
Misconceptions. Most people think that just because they're a startup, they can't get access to funding. Most people think that's already in business who may not have, they've been in business for a couple of years, they're generating nice income, but because their personal credit is, let's say 500 and they don't have no business credit established, most business owners think they can't get business funding either, but that's actually not the case. So most people think they just can't get access to funding. There's many options that we can go through to get your business funded.
Okay.
Oh man, that's so
How
good.
do you advise clients that come through the program and determine the amount of funding they should get?
Okay. So with our program, what we try to do is give clients the max that they qualify for. So if you come to me and say, hey, look, I need $100,000. If you qualify for 100K, I would definitely get you funded 100,000. But if you don't, I'm gonna let you know you don't. And I'm gonna show you and teach you why you don't. And I'm gonna work with you for 12 months to ensure that I can get you to that 100K mark if you don't qualify for it.
Hey man, that's so dope. All right. So right now, what are some sources of funding that people might not be aware of in your expertise?
I don't even know how to answer that one.
I know all the ways. Okay.
Exactly. I think everybody should be aware of them because you can do MCAs, loans, term loans, credit cards.
What is MCA?
Merchant cash advances. That's when, and most people are scared of them. Me personally, I used to be. But a merchant cash advance is basically when, let's say you have a business that's generating, let's say 100K a month in revenue or 200K a month in revenue, but you have no credit, or your credit is bad. You have no business credit, but you know that you need a little bit of cash to work on to get some inventory in to keep that income coming in. So we would use then your income history of 100K a month, and you have that consistently for 6 months. Now we can give you a term loan based off your income, which is $100,000 with bad credit.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's so dope. That's so dope. I used to be scared of them too. When I first heard about it, I was like, man, they're gonna give me a bad interest rate. But they do check credit scores too, right?
They do look at them. And yes, sometimes interest rates can be a factor. It can be bad. But the thing about that is a client won't have that MCA for long. Even if that MCA, let's say it's whatever the term is, my goal is to get them that money. And then I would teach them different shoes on how to get out of that MCA. Maybe it's do an SBA loan to now refinance that MCA to get a lower interest rate for a 10-year term. So now you got your liquid cash again.
Okay. All right. So let me
Hey,
ask you.
family, hold on, family. I see a lot of people asking about how can I get funding and things like that. He's a part of our team. So if you're a part of the family, you already hit up Tanya and we'll talk. All right. So I don't want to make sure I see some questions about how much is the program and things we got you. All right. You already know how to do it. So just reach out to the office. It's 407-863-3024 because I don't want to make sure. We're not here to sell you nothing. We're here to give you the information so you can understand what are the type of loans out there, what's not being told to me that I know now, and how can I leverage this information so I can talk to my family members and we all come together to get this money, right? So that's why we're here to educate you on different types of business out there or different loans, different credit cards, different lines of credit, so you can make an educational decision. Of course, we'll help you, but we just want to get you all the information. Because a lot of people out here selling you hope with no instructions, and we ain't that. My bad.
Oh no, you good, Dave. Do we have any other questions in the chat you want that you want to talk about with Tristan?
I tried to open. I think there's a Kingwood Drive.
Okay, I'll pull it up. Give me a
Okay.
second. Oh, it's kind of too long. Okay. I tried to open up a business bank account with PNC and got denied. I have something negative on early warning services. Is there any way to freeze or get that removed? We're gonna take that. We're gonna take that. Oh God. I'm gonna say we did.
I think that sounds like a check systems issue. So I think you may have to contact check systems.
Yes, sir. All right. So Kenwood Drive, just reach out to us. We got something special for you. If you go back to Dave's last video about the Sweet Panda, if you use that service and sign up with us, we'll walk you through step by step how to get out of early warnings, check systems, all those other things.
And do you know? Now I ain't trying to put you on the spot, but do you know of any businesses? Do you know of like any business accounts that you can open that don't check systems?
I do not, but I can do some research. I can get back to you on that one.
That's how I know you was in the Navy for real. If you don't know, get back to me.
Exactly. Old Second Bank is actually here in Illinois, and I do know they didn't check. They don't check. That's one.
That's a gem for y'all Illinois people. All right, one more. Nope, this ain't the right one. I'm sorry.
You unfreeze the snitches?
All right, so do we have to unfreeze the snitches to get funding after you fix your credit? So we call the snitches the secondary agencies. So do they have to have? All right, so I know they're gonna have to unlock their credit profiles because we telling them to lock them. What about the secondary agencies? Do they matter when trying to get funding?
Fraud alerts. You want to remove that?
Yes. It all depends on what's reported, what's coming up. If collection stuff is showing up on a credit report, it's gonna hurt us. If late, it all depends on what's reported and what's showing up. 9 times out of 10, it won't come into a factor. But if they have negative things reporting and showing up from the snitches, then yes, it may impact them. It may hurt them.
All right, man.
Hey, the question that Rita got, Mike, I think that's a good question.
Which one?
What about for land and for farming? How can somebody not even get a loan, but like, what are your suggestions about how to get that?
How to get money for that industry in that industry?
Yeah.
So keep in mind, we can fund any industry. Any industry can get funded with us. The adult entertainment industry may not qualify. All depends on what you're incorporated as. If you're incorporated as Dave is in corporations and your DBA is something else, you can get funded no matter what that business does. So this business, yes, we can get funding for.
I hope y'all caught that because the name matters.
The name matters.
So don't go don't go get some crazy name. You want to make it generalized. So I always tell people just get an enterprise or get a consultant because everybody's typically a consultant because you always get a phone call from somebody and they ask you. So everybody's considered a consultant. So the name matters. That's key.
Sir, don't pigeonhole your business just because you know you got a trucking business.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So we also talk.
One more question. What are some of the high risk businesses out there?
A high risk business is the adult. A high risk business can be me personally, a high risk business is a restaurant. That's a high risk business. If that restaurant is before 2 years, before they reach their 2-year mark, it's considered a high risk business.
All right, we got 1 minute left. We're not going to badger you with no more questions. What do you want everybody to take away from today's conversation?
That people are here to help. That if you do need help or you do need advice in this aspect, reach out to myself, Dave, Mike. Reach out to us. And if you need assistance with working capital, loans, or hey, what should I put on my credit report so I can get access to this money? We're here to help. So if you need help, you're not by yourself. We all been in this situation where we didn't have funding at one point, but we learned how to do it. We're here to teach you how to do it.
Hey, man, that's amazing. All right, so y'all want to talk to Tristan again, you know what I'm saying, join the community. What we doing, Tristan? We doing classes? Is it going to be bi-weekly? Is it going to be monthly?
It's up to you. Let me know. We can do weekly or we can do monthly, where we can do a Zoom call, we can do it live, and we can come in and just educate everyone.
Okay, it would probably be a Zoom call because I want everybody in the community to get specific answers. Because on YouTube, people can come and go, and then we can answer part of the question, and we don't want to leave them stranded. So it's most definitely going to be in the community. All right.
Perfect.
So Dave, any last words?
Hey man, I appreciate you, Tristan, for coming out here on this beautiful Saturday. I don't know, I probably it's cold out there where you at, but
Just a little bit.
hey, appreciate you for coming and showing people on how to actually get this real funding, this real money.
Definitely. Appreciate you for helping me, you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, no problem, no problem. Hey, we about to bring up the next guest. Thank you, Tristan. All right, so we about to bring up the next guest, and who would have thought that people will be flipping houses and doing real estate in Alaska? I was like, hold on, this got to be a prank. Like, how? So we spoke with a guy, Keenan Fitzpatrick. We had a conversation, and I think it went very well because we went way over the scheduled time because we were very interested in how to utilize credit and business credit to fund real estate. And a lot of you guys are asking real estate questions. So look, we ain't gonna spare no more expense. We're gonna bring up Keenan. We're gonna ask somebody's story. I mean, I got it right here, but I don't want to jeopardize what he's going to say, so I'm going to let him explain his own story. Dave, you got anything else before I bring him up?
Hey, if you want to learn how to, we talked about how to get this money. Now we know how to get this money. Now we're going to bring up the real estate person, and he's going to talk about what to do with this money when it comes to real estate. So come with the questions, and it's about to be lit.
All right, I'm going to bring him up.
Hope y'all got something to drink, too.
All right, what's going on, Keenan? I think you got to unmute, and then I want you to introduce yourself to everybody because I definitely don't want to do you this justice. I'm reading the bio, and it's crazy.
So I moved up to Alaska after working college, and it actually happens to a lot of people. They come up here in the summertime, make a bunch of money, go back home, pay for their college, and eventually they come up here one summer and they just never go home. Moved up here with a couple suitcases back in 2004, 2005, started working construction. Felt like there was more for me out there. And looking back on it now, I felt like I had this drive inside where I really wanted to help people. Construction was a great job, provided a great life for me, got to see the entire state. But I decided I wanted to get into real estate. Maybe it was that Rich Dad Poor Dad book that I read when I was 21 years old. They never left the back of my mind. And I felt like I wanted to do more with my life. So I ended up getting into real estate. I didn't want to be the, driving around in a drop top Mercedes, helping people find their dream home, showing off pretty kitchens and stuff. Nothing wrong with that, but I wanted to show people how to make money in real estate. And that's what I got into. So here I am.
Oh man, that's an awesome story. Did anybody tell you like you were crazy for leaving a good job to pursue your dream in real estate? Did anybody ever say anything like that to you?
So my parents actually told me when I bought my first place, which was 8 or 9 years before I left construction, I was looking at getting a multifamily. And they gave me the, tenants and toilets things. You're going to be up in the middle of the night dealing with tenants and toilets. That one little comment, never left me. And I also, I didn't have an agent that explained to me the benefits of investing in real estate. I thought, I was looking at, so back then, making good money, no debt. I got approved for $475. And I'm like, I think these creditors are a little crazy. I'm not going to spend $475. I'm comfortable with $350 though. Same thing like when I bought a truck. I got approved for a whole bunch, bought something that I thought was reasonable. In both situations, that truck payment and that house payment I ended up with, kept me very poor, even though I thought I was being conservative. So I was like, I'll buy a triplex for $350,000. That deal ended up falling apart. I got upset, ended up buying a brand new construction condo because the listing agent, not my agent, I ended up getting mad and calling her on the phone. Long story. And she's like, oh, this will be a great investment because it's close to the military base. Military people buy it. but I bought it with my FHA loan. And when you only put a little bit down on a property, and you only have one unit to rent out, if I would have rented that property out, I would have lost $200-300 a month every single month.
Oh man, so that look, that brings back memories, because when we joined the military, they told us the best investment we can get was a house. And then, we got the house, and then somebody said, "Hey, how many doors do you got per one roof?" And I was like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah.
And then it dawned on me. I was like, I will never be able to rent this property over market value. Well, I probably could, but it's not guaranteed. But I could have spent almost the same much money to get more doors, which means it's still a house or a property, so I could get the baseline. So if I were to get 4 doors under one roof for $500, I can still get $1,000 per, depending on how many bedrooms it is. So I think that's something I learned in the game, and I wanted to let everybody know my story. So a lot of people come to us with a dream house scenario. Would you tell people to get their dream house first, or to get the asset to purchase the dream house later?
Yeah, man, it's not always the easiest conversation, because of course I tell them, get the asset, and not only will it help fund your dream home in the future, but that dream home that you have now is going to, in your mind, is going to grow into a bigger, better dream home because you have these assets. It takes a little discipline at first. It takes a little sacrifice now to get what you want more later. But, that's why it's called an investment. You don't throw, $10,000 in, the stock market and then turn around next month and pull out $50,000. You got to wait. You got to give that investment time to grow. So I tell them, hey, this is actually like a very, very short term on your investment, because you only got to live in it for 1 year. So is it all right? I could just break down like the plan that works for 90% of people. You guys want to get into that?
Oh, let's get into it. Oh,
Right.
hold on. Before we go, before we do that, Dave, do you want to ask these questions, or you want to get straight into the meat and potatoes?
Hey, now go straight into it. Hey, give them the game.
So the plan for success to change the trajectory of your wealth for the better that I end up giving to most people
Hold
is
on. Go grab your pen. Go get your paper. And I hope y'all got something to drink. I told y'all. So, all right, my bad. There you go.
Okay, so what we're told is, because when most people end up in my office sitting across from me, they've worked really hard. Maybe they paid attention to their credit, or maybe they just kind of stumbled across having good credit. But the one thing that's for sure is that they've saved up a considerable amount of money, probably the most amount of money they've ever saved up in their life. And because they've worked so hard on that, they want to get a good payoff. They want that dream home, right? And what are we conditioned to think for the last 50, 60, 70 years or more? You work hard, you save up, you get the house with a white picket fence in front of it, and 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2 car garage, and then you've made it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people want. But I'm like, hey, there's something better out there. So the biggest expense that most people have is their housing expense, right? And let's just say it costs you $2,000 a month to live in a place. It's probably a lot more, depending on where you're from, maybe even less if you're in a rural area. But if it costs you $2,000 a month, I just go, hey, most first-time home buyers in our market are looking at a house that's going to be, like a condo around $300,000. Okay. That's going to cost you a little more than $2,000 a month because of what happened in the last couple of years. But you buy a single family home or a condo somewhere around $300,000. It's going to cost you at least $2,000 a month, probably more like $2,500 a month. But I go, well, wait a second. What if I could show you how to own a $550,000 property that only costs you $600 or $700 a month? Would you be interested in that? And of course, we talk about a fourplex, because a fourplex is the most amount of doors that you can get, up to 4 units. That's still a residential loan. The reason that it's important that we use a residential loan is because those are the loans that you can still get into with small down payments. The minute you go up to 5 units, you're looking at a bare minimum of 20% down for the most part. So we can get into a fourplex at 3.5% down. So I tell people, hey, you get into this fourplex, you live in it for 1 year, chances are you're living in an apartment already. So yeah, you do want to take that hard-earned money and see a benefit in a better living lifestyle, but we're talking about an investment here. You live in this place for 1 year, now your living expenses, $600-700 a month, as opposed to, $2,200-2,300 a month. You're saving $1,500 a month. Well, $1,500 a month, what's that, $18,000 a year? I just showed you how to make $18,000 more a year by reducing your housing expense. And what would you have to do at your job to make an extra $1,500 a month? And most people, the answer is there's nothing that they could do at their job. There's no more hours for them to get. They're looking at getting a second job in order to make that extra money. But we're just talking about cash flow at that point. Because when they move out of that one, now that unit is going to make $700 or $800 a year. Used to be a little bit more like $1,000. But prices have gone up, interest rates have gone up. Those are the lead measures. The lag measures are going to be our rental rates. So those follow along. So it's actually a good time to buy right now, because now you're buying something where you can negotiate a little bit better price, and you will be able to in a couple of years when all those rental rates go up. So I show them how to own a more expensive property that costs them less per month, and then we start talking about the strategy. Once they're interested in that and they start seeing the benefits, we go, okay, you buy your first place with an FHA. If you have a VA loan, it's game over at that point, because you can use your FHA or your VA to buy your first property up to 4 units. Then you can turn around next year and buy another property up to 4 units using that other loan. People like me who don't have access to the VA, we got to get a little bit more creative. So in order to buy our second property, I got to go to like a local credit union. And most areas are going to have a local credit union that have a program like this, but it's not guaranteed. I can go down to a local credit union. I can go buy a fourplex with 5% down. So now in the first year, I'm owning over $1 million of real estate, or somewhere around there. Most fourplexes here about $500,000-600,000. And in 2 years, I've been able to buy fourplex buildings that have not only reduced my monthly expenses, but I've got one building now that's making me money. Then in year 3, after we owner occupy the second building for 1 year, then we go and buy a duplex, because when it comes to triplexes and fourplexes, we've only got a couple options for a small down payment. When you start getting closer to those single family homes, they open up more options. So we've got another local credit union here that'll do 5% down on a duplex, another one that'll do 10% down on a duplex, or you can go Fannie and Freddie and get a duplex at 15% down, kind of a big down payment, but it's still less than 20. So as I talk to people and I show them these different options, you buy new real estate every single year. We come up with a strategy to maximize these low down payment loan programs. And every year as you're buying another property, you get the cash flow. But when you look at the cash flow, that's very short-sighted when it comes to the total benefit. Because what else do we have? Well, look at the last 2 years. Everyone knows what happened to real estate. Skyrocketed in value. There's a lot of people that made $50, $60, or over $100,000, and they did nothing. But you can't win that game if you never get on the field. And so you've got to own real estate. And everyone's talking about like, oh, dude, I'm just waiting for the housing market to crash. I got in real estate 9 years ago. There's a guy that gets emails from me every single week who's been waiting 9 years for the real estate market to crash.
Wow.
And, what we got to do, just like with any investment, we don't know if the stock market's going up and down. We don't know if there's going to be some black swan event that is going to make our business fail. but we do our due diligence and we move forward in faith, and we trust that when we take the next right step, things are going to work out. And as long as you keep moving forward, I mean, you guys know, one of the things that's unique about successful people is that they make decisions quickly, because they know when they don't make a decision, that's the worst decision that they can make. It's stagnant. And life is not stagnant. Life is like a river that's flowing, and you're either going with it or it's leaving you behind. So you got to make decisions. And we know that even if we make a wrong decision, we can pivot, and we're going to learn from that. We're going to get an experience that's going to make us more valuable and more successful in the future. And that's what I try to help people do.
Man, you said a lot. You said a mouthful. So for those of you who don't know me, and every one of you guys, I think we've been tricked, right? And I'm gonna tell you how we've been tricked. If you ever played the game of Monopoly, they told you to get the house, and then get the hotel. What you just said was, Keenan, to get the hotel first, and then just keep getting hotels. Like, why'd you get houses where you could just buy the whole hotel, 4 doors under one roof?
Yeah.
And for the same price, because you said after you go to 5 and more, you're gonna have a higher down payment. So you can use these no money down, low money down, or all these different avenues to get the fourplex. The same avenue you use to get a single family home. And then you don't stop there. You do it year after year after year. And I'm pretty sure after you get the cash flow, then you can get the loans to get more than 5 units.
Yeah, so you got to be careful in how you file your taxes. But you guys got a tax person coming up later that can talk more about that. And as you have the cash flow of these other buildings, because say you make $60,000, $70,000 a year at your job, but now you got this building that's making, $800, $900 a month for you. Well, now you're making another $10,000 a year to add on to that 60 or 70. So that's what I mean when I tell these people, hey, your dream home right now might be 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, 1,800 square feet, 2,000 square feet or something like that. And that's a great home. There's nothing wrong with that home. That's very respectable. And that is all a lot of people want. But if you come hang out with me and you give me 5 to 7 years, that dream home is going to be something much different.
Wow. Yeah, my dream home. Yeah. You said white picket fence, American dream. Me and Dave was actually going to write a book about this, but we'll probably write it later. But everybody told us when we started a credit repair, we left the military to start a credit repair company. People thought we were insane. They couldn't believe it. They're like, you got everything you need. You got the salary job that's going to pay you, and you can see the career way path. And it's going to, the longer you stay in, the more you get on retirement. So why not stay and live in the house and just receive the benefits? So what you're saying is, if someone spends, you said 7 years with you, the dream home is going to look different. So I think when me and Dave were talking, our dreams kept getting higher and higher. What we thought we could achieve got higher and higher, way past what the military offered. So if they sit down with you, you'll build them out you'll build out a plan of how they can achieve their dream home, the one that is way above what they're thinking now. Yeah,
that's exactly right. I love that you guys took that step, because I had a lot of similar conversations with people. I became a superintendent when I was 25 years old. Most of those guys were like 50 years old. It's very intimidating on the job site, but I did very well for myself. Like it sounds like you guys did in your career, and that's what people told me. They're like, you got a great benefit package, and I knew that there was more out there. But what you were talking about, so if we look at this strategy a little bit more, I talked about the loan programs, but when we talk about the property type, you want to start out with a fourplex, because as you keep a building and then buy another one, they want to see you do one thing, which is increase the level of your lifestyle. And the way that you do that is you go down in your housing density. So that means moving from a fourplex to a triplex to a duplex to a single family home. And they want to see you go up in your level of lifestyle. So the way that you go up in your level of lifestyle is going by down in your housing density, adding more features to a property, more square footage, So it's really important that we start off with a fourplex, even though a lot of people, they're like, okay, I'll buy a multifamily, but I just want to dip my toes in the landlord pool. And I'll start off with a duplex. I'm like, no, you don't want to do that. Number one, they don't cash flow very well. And number two, it's going to bottleneck you in the potential that you can have in your future strategy. You know what I did? So after I had my condo, I had a 2,500 square foot home. I ended up selling them, and I moved into my first fourplex. It was 500 square feet, 1 bedroom and 1 bath. I could go like this with my arms and my legs in one point of the house, and I would be in every single room of the house at the same time. And I'm not gonna lie, day 3, when I was sitting on that couch, like with my dog next to me, a single tear rolling down my cheek, like things got a little emotional. You know, I went from having a big house and a nice neighborhood, custom kitchen, entertain people all the time, and now I'm in this house where I could be in every single room at the same time. But you know what happened was that first mortgage payment came around, and it was made by those other 3 tenants.
Oh God! So story time, Keenan.
And I was like, all right, I get this. So as we're talking, you know, as we're considering the strategy with, you know, the property types, we overlay that with, you know, how we have to upgrade our property. So we're going from fourplexes to duplexes, but you can even take it into one dwelling properties. So like after you move out of your last multifamily and your last duplex is it's, you know, because it's getting bigger. That might be a duplex. It's a very nice building in a very nice part of town. And then after that, you can go use, because now we're in single family homes. Now we got a bunch of loan programs with very small down payments. And you're like, I want to keep slicing this real estate investing tomato as thin as I can. So I go, okay, well, we're not going to move into your dream home yet. Let's get you a really nice condo, because condos are only a small step above. If you go from a condo to a single family home, then they consider that an upgrade in your lifestyle. So you go get yourself a nice condo. But now that we're in single family homes, we can also buy a condo. Maybe it's something like downtown where it's an older building and you buy it with a renovation loan. Now we're forcing equity into that building. So what we start doing is we start combining different tools and strategies on top of each other. You know, like if you go on Bigger Pockets, they've got the BRRRR method, you know, buy, renovate, rehab, rent out, refinance. But then when you buy a fourplex, that's called a multifamily house hack. If you buy a house that has 5 bedrooms and you rent out all the bedrooms, that's a single family house hack. And what I've done is I bought my properties is I've bought crappy ones and renovated them. So I'm doing a BRRRR multifamily house hack. And now that I've had them for a while, now that I have nice buildings, I'm turning them into Airbnb units, because you remember that 500 square foot 1-bedroom apartment I had? That's a pretty deluxe hotel room. And I can Airbnb that thing, charge half as much as what they charge the hotel fees in the middle of summer, because it's really expensive here in the middle of summer. You try to rent a car up here, it's $200, $300 a day just to rent a car in the middle of summer. I know, I got 6 of them. But now I'm turning them into Airbnbs, and in the wintertime, I use them as corporate furnished rentals for traveling nurses. And instead of charging $1,200 a month, I charge $2,000 a month. Just in that building, that 4-unit building, that originally made me $600 or $700 a month. I refinanced it a year later, got my cash flow up to $1,000 a month. Then I started converting them to Airbnbs, where those units make, after all the fees and everything, I probably take home about $4,000 a month in the summer per unit, as opposed to $1,200 a month. And then in the wintertime, I rent them out for $2,000 a month. So if you just use the wintertime furnished rental market, you know, that building went from making $5,000 a month for me to making $8,000 a month. You know, so that cash flow goes from $1,000 a month to $4,000 a month.
Hey, Keenan just dropped the mic, man. Hey,
but you got to get in the game, because none of this stuff is what I imagined when I first started it. I was like, all right, it makes $600-700 a month. I'll get this one, and I'll get the next one. And now this thing, like, you know, it does pretty well.
Yeah.
Hey, oh, go ahead, Mike.
Got it. Okay. Confucius said, had a quote. It says, if I see it, I'll forget it. If I hear it, I will remember it. But if I do it, I'll understand it. So I do understand what you're saying. But go ahead, Dave.
So you said if a person worked with you, if they just gave you 7 years, they call you Mr. Alaska. They gave you 7 years, Mr. Alaska, right? After 7 years, how much you see they'll get in cash flow on average? All the people you work with.
In 7 years, they're probably, I mean, very conservatively. This isn't converting anything to Airbnbs or none of that stuff. Just buying these rentals. I mean, I think it's very realistic for someone to be at $5,000 a month.
Oh man,
That's just average.
that's very. He said,
We figure if in 7 years they buy 5 buildings, so we're not even buying a building every year, right? So we're being conservative. We're giving them a little bit of extra time on there, and we're just saying, hey, like that, because that first building after 7 years is probably going to be generating more than $1,000 because rents go up over time. You have the opportunity to refinance it. Maybe you make some improvements in it. But if we just say, okay, 5 buildings in 7 years at $1,000 a piece, it's very realistic that you would be making an extra $5,000 a month. But what I find, there's a moose walking outside my office right now.
You got to come to the office. I want to see them.
So what we find is that as you get in the game, you start seeing these other opportunities, like long-term versus short-term rentals. There's some other strategies that I can go into on how to generate more money. So like one of the things that they did in our market right now is they just passed some legislation. The guy that I actually started working with when I first got my license, it taught me almost everything that I know. He's one of the assembly members for the municipality of Anchorage right now. All kinds of stuff is happening with real estate and being able to provide affordable housing. So they just they eliminated parking requirements. And he made it very easy for people to add additional dwelling units. So depending on the size of your building, the primary structure, you can add an additional dwelling unit that's 900 to 1,200 square feet. Well, 1,200 square feet, you can squeeze out 3 bedrooms in 1,200 square feet. So you're looking at something anywhere from a studio to a 3-bedroom unit. It's very easy to add that onto your property. And on top of that, there's a company that is doing turnkey additional dwelling units. They've got the financing in place at a local credit union. You go down there and they're doing they're focusing on ones that are about 500 to 900 square feet. So they're going to be studios and 1-bedrooms, maybe a 2-bedroom. But for $50,000 to $70,000, they'll come drop this additional dwelling unit on your property, all prefabricated. Financing's in place. They hook up to your electrical. They hook up to your water. They hook up to your sewer. And I mean, a brand new construction 1-bedroom unit, just if it's a 1-bedroom unit, that gets $1,250, maybe $1,300 all day, every single day.
All right, let me stop you right there. All right. Ooh. Hey, look, me and Dave probably asked one question. Keenan, you the best. So you got 2 minutes left, and I know everybody want to know how can they get in contact with you, how can they reach you. We're going to be partnering with Keenan Moore, especially for the people who are in the 100K blueprint and the people who are in our mentorship currently. We're going to probably try to work out with Keenan a way so we can get more into detail, because what you gave us was a lot of high level, pretty much training. And I know everybody's going to go back and watch it. Please go back, watch, and digest and dissect what he said, because far too often we try to lead our own instead of going out and finding mentors who mastered the game and who can accelerate our growth. Because you said you were in the game for 9 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so hey, look, that's 9 years of experience that you can get access to just by working with me and Dave. And yeah, man, I can't wait till we really have something lined up. But all right, you got like 1 minute left. What do you want to say to anybody right now that can?
Hold on, before you ask that, after 7 years, and they accumulated all these assets, how much is that worth?
If they sell, oh yeah.
If they sell, like, is it $1 million worth of assets they have?
I mean, if they've got 5 properties, you know, I mean, they're probably sitting around $3 million worth of assets. But the great thing about real estate is, you know, like a lot of investments, is it grows, you know, because you don't just make, you asked about the cash flow. You don't just make money off cash flow. You've got the appreciation. You depreciate it on your taxes. So you get to offset your taxable income on that mortgage. You get to write off the interest that you pay on that mortgage. You've got the principal pay down as well. And then you got the cash flow. So while cash flow is king, and we love to look at that, we don't, like, one of my best friends, he's got a property in downtown Denver, Colorado, loses him $300 a month. And he goes, but check it out. Like, this is a very nice property. It's appreciating. So when you factor everything, I'm making money, and this thing's going to be my retirement. I can either put $300 a month into this property, which won't be forever. It'll just be for a few years. Or I could go put $300 into a Roth IRA or whatever else it is. And he goes, I choose real estate.
Oh man! All right, Keenan. All right, we got another speaker. We definitely need to weaponize you more into our program because.
So what I'm saying is, people going to become millionaires based off of them acquiring that.
Real estate has made more millionaires than any other vehicle in the history of the entire world.
Hey, that's what's up. All right, Keenan. Hey, look, you already know we want to ask you more questions, but we got to go. Thank you for your time. And do you have one last word for the guests?
You know, I would just encourage them to continue being a critical thinker and seeking out the truth like this. Like, you know, what we're conditioned to do, go get that house that's going to keep you house poor. Go get that big car, which is a depreciating asset. Like, all that stuff is just made to make us weaker and we're more controllable. Freedom comes starting first with, like, you know, being the most excellent version of yourself with your finances and your personal health and your spirituality. So just continue to seek excellence in every aspect of your life and realize that a lot of the things that we're conditioned to believe aren't for our benefit.
Oh man, that's dope. All right, Keenan, thank you so much. I'm gonna drop you down. If anybody want to reach out to Keenan, drop Keenan in the chat. We're gonna be going back and getting all the comments, and then we're gonna serve you guys the best way we know how.
Hey, type Mr. Alaska, Mr. Alaska.
All right, thanks, guys. I'm gonna hang out in the chat for a while.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Man, whew, boy,
that was crazy. So, hey, look. We on here to provide maximum value, so we ain't even gonna leave no dead air. We're gonna show you guys how to make more money, how to do everything. We're gonna bring up our next guest right now. Like, she's so dope. Melissa is actually our speaking coach. She's spoken to more than 700,000 people, but I'm pretty sure that's a typo because she keeps speaking a lot and she speaks all the time. She has a business called Activate Your Voice. And what she does is she trains and teach people how to speak on stage to turn their stories and their voice into income producing assets. I know I just butchered that, but I'm gonna bring her up and I'm gonna ask her what exactly she does and how she can help you guys activate your voice. All right, Dave, anything for the audience before I bring her up? Okay, all right, cool. Man.
Turn your voice into a cash flow machine. That's what it is.
Come on. That's what I'm talking about. Look, y'all bringing that heat. Keenan already set like the tone and the atmosphere. So I'm excited to come right behind him and just pour on top of that. I'm hyped. Thank y'all for having me.
Hey, thank you for being here. I'm so excited. This thing is going actually better than I planned it. So before we ask the questions.
Oh no, I already know she about to turn up real quick.
Can you introduce yourself to us?
Yo, my name is Melissa D. White. I am your activation coach. I make sure you activate your voice to be seen and heard at work and in the world. Just like Dave said, how to turn your voice into value and your words into wealth. I promise you, there is millions in your mouth. And the fact that you're being quiet means that you're not ready to get access to what you have in your hand. What you have in your mouth could be in your hand. There's wealth in your words. Stop being silent. So I coach you to unmute yourself and to show up and speak. Speaking is not just about being on a stage. You have a virtual stage right now. I call this the $1 million camera that we're looking at. We walk around with a $1 million cell phone with a camera on it, which could really lead you to your $1 million stage. I help you cultivate your brand, your voice, and your message to take your profession and put it on a platform. Let's get it.
Ooh, all right. So it's safe to say the first question is, how do you help people get access to or help earn 100K? Now, I think this goes both ways to you because you actually do both. So can you answer that question for me?
Absolutely. You know, I love this question. And oftentimes, right now, speaking and coaching is very popular, right? And oftentimes we see people on a stage, like you guys are on your virtual stage right now. We see people on a platform and we see them there. We don't know how they got there. And we don't know if they're speaking or if they're in the business of speaking. So the first thing is, how do you get access to it? You go from being a speaker to the business of speaking, because we all know the business is the legal container from which you can get the funding to what? Offer a product or service, right? But a lot of speakers and coaches are doing, you out here on your own, right? You're using your name and your brand instead of using the business to use other people's money and other people's platform to build a business. So you have to think on that level that it might be my stage, but it's not my business. And a lot of people do that. You do, and that's okay. That's what you're taught. You just figure, I'm just gonna go out here. I'm gonna get a really pretty website. I'm gonna go out here and come up with a message that sounds real good and hype the people up and get them excited. But then the business of speaking is what you do before stage, on stage, and off stage. Y'all catch that? Ooh. So I help you get access to the 100,000 by getting what's trapped inside of you out of you to start earning you money from your words. And that means having a strategy on what stages can accelerate your income. You got it? Now, how to help you earn it? That's a matter of mindset. So we deal with the mindset of high value and money. Because here's the thing, motivational speakers talk good, but if you really sit down and talk to a real speaker, if they're not healed on the inside, then they're not going to help you transform on the outside. So you're going to have to heal some stuff to get to your $100,000 plus. You're going to have to be able, you can't stand and talk about what you had to live. I always say, if I lived it, I can tell it. So you hear speakers always telling their stories. You hear speakers talking about what they got over and what they overcome. You're only able to do that when you heal. So as a coach, now you can go get a speaker that'll tell you how to speak real good phonetically, but who's going to help you heal and speak the truth? And that's what we work on to get to that 100K or better.
Oh man, that's crazy. Hey, don't mind me, y'all. I'm taking notes. So I'm gonna be looking down because Melissa, like, I don't even know. Like, you're a speaker. You know what you're doing. You know you're dropping them gems. I can't even keep up.
It's who you are, though. Like I tell you guys, and I'm gonna leave this with your audience before we get into the next part of this, because we're gonna give you practical steps here. This not no Instagram real fluff here. This where you go deep. You show up in rooms like this to go beyond the content to get to the real stuff, right? And I always say, speaking is a calling. Speaking is a calling. And if you got a calling on your life, you got a story, something that you survived, how dare you not speak and tell it? You didn't survive it to be quiet about it. So you have an obligation now. It just happens to be that there are millions of people that are telling their stories and not getting paid for it. And that's the disconnect we want to talk about today.
Oh man. Dave, anything?
Oh, man.
Okay. All right. So
I'm let her flow. Go ahead. But
okay. How do you leverage credit in your profession, Melissa?
You know what? Can I be all the way real? Can I tell my business a little bit?
Go ahead. Do it.
These your people, right? You trust them. This your tribe. This your people, right?
Oh yeah.
So I can be honest with them. All right. I started speaking at 15. I did not understand the business of speaking until 3 years ago. So let me put that into perspective. That's over almost 3 decades of my life where I could have earned millions from my mouth, but no one taught me the inside game of the business of speaking, but they were able to use my voice and make money. They were taking my free and charging a fee. So many of you are out there paying to be on other people's stages. I've done it too, and there's a time and place to do that, and I'll talk about how do you leverage credit to do that. when you understand the power of financial literacy and credit in the context of a business, I don't care what business you run, that credit can be used as leverage to go take that and buy assets. Now, let me explain what an asset would even be for a speaker or a coach. Assets are, you can buy everything from when you get credit approval, having the right credit systems in place for your speaking business, buying email lists. Buying an email list, yes, there are people who buy and sell email lists for a customized audience for you. If I've just started speaking and I have a book attached to my speaking business, right? Say you are a woman and you're empowering women, right, to show up in the world, okay? There are literally avenues where you can go buy email lists that's already vetted, that's already built. So if I was a lot younger and I go back and talk to my younger self in the game, I'd be like, yo, why you taking there my girl, hey Tanya, why you taking 5 years, 10 years, getting it out the mud? Somebody else got it out the mud, so I didn't have to. So why not go buy email lists? You can even buy whole coaching programs and license it so you making money on and off the stage. Credit in the speaking business can also be used, catch this, to invest in yourself as a speaker, personal development. It's even quoted that the top millionaires and the wealthiest minds in the world invest in health, rest, and in themselves. But you can't do that if you don't have the funds. So if someone's charging you $10,000, but they're training you up to earn $100,000 a year so that you can charge $10K, $20K per speech. If you don't have the leverage and you don't have the capital, just cash out your pocket, then what you got? Credit. If you understand business credit and how to use it to put you in the right rooms. I've used credit to get me in rooms that my cash couldn't afford.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you have to have a strategy, and that's the difference. Some people are getting on stages for popularity, and other people are getting on stages to build a real transformational platform. We're not like them. They're not the same. There's two types of speakers. Some want to be seen, and some want to transform. But either one of them, whatever your business, if you're a speaker, which I believe everybody is a speaker, if you're a coach, and I put speaking and coaching together because they do go hand in hand. Don't discount yourself. I think a lot of people in service industries like ours disqualify themselves automatically because they figure, oh, a business credit is to buy tangible assets. It's about physical product or good, or it's to go replenish my store. Well, I have a store too. My storefront is my speaking business, and I'm the product or service. So I need to be replenished. That means I can use business credit to replenish the business of Melissa, to take care of my health and wellness, to have better quality of life and better trips. The other thing as a speaker, if you're really on your game and you're traveling and speaking, like I probably travel about 20 plus times a year, maybe more than that, speaking internationally. And it's a whole lot nicer to travel in first class and to have points and to have the quality of life for my family to enjoy the benefits of me being brave enough to use my voice. So there's so many ways to use it, but we don't think big enough and see speakers and coaches as a tangible legal business. I'm just saying.
Hey, man. What inspired you to become a transformational?
Before that, hey y'all, if y'all feeling this message, definitely share this out to 2 friends or family members that need to hear this message. Because Melissa is not just a motivational speaker; she's a transformational speaker. So that's what Dave was saying. Go ahead, Melissa.
Yeah.
10 your friends, 10 friends, bring them in.
Tag a friend, man. Look, don't go up alone. Tag a friend and bring a friend. Be a good friend and tag somebody to get in the room. I didn't even realize it was a thing until I heard the amazing, incomparable Lisa Nichols say one time in a speech. She was teaching about the 4 different types of speakers. And I realized at some point in my speaking career, and I think it was more so corporately. So I'm going to answer this while framing a little bit of my story. And some of you may relate to this. Okay, so I spoke as a kid because my mom was like, you run your mouth too much in class and you're either going to be a lawyer or a speaker. And I need to cultivate your voice and do something to keep you out of trouble. She put me in Toastmasters. And I never knew that that would be life changing for me. I was just really good. I was a good hype man. Like I was the one to hype all my friends up. I would get people motivated. I could really talk a good game my whole life. And I didn't know that that was like a skill, right? Until I got in corporate America and I realized the best communicators get the best positions. Like I'm the quiet person in the room. So I started cultivating speaking as a way of gaining leverage professionally for 20 years. But the problem was I was still speaking and I would go out and represent my company and do things, but it was on their dime. But I realized at the time I was a sales trainer. I was a corporate trainer. I was teaching sales and teaching marketing and corporations, but it was deeper than that because people were coming back to me after a sales training, like, man, you just changed my life. And I was like, really, from a sales trainer? But they were like, no, it was the psychology of it. And then I realized, like, yo, these people are really listening. And then to answer your question, let me build a bridge for you. A motivational speaker hypes you up, but a transformational speaker changes your life. That's the difference. And I was like, okay, Melissa, which one you want to be? You want to be a hype man all your life, or you want to go change lives? And I think that was the real crossover. And when you care more, oh, thank you. Here's the real key, and I'm gonna move on from there. You're a motivational speaker when you care more about the aesthetics and the energy that you bring on stage when you're looking at yourself on stage, but you're a transformational speaker when you spend more time looking at the people out in the audience. You change your view and your perspective. And so, yeah, I think and it's not that one is better than the other. Motivational speakers are absolutely needed because somebody has to get the crowd riled up. Somebody has to push you and get you excited. They have to do that. And then somebody has to also come behind that and keep them sustained, right? Where's the sustainability factor? And so that's what I do.
Man, oh my God, Melissa, why are you this good? Oh my goodness.
It's in you. It's what you guys are doing here, even showing up yourselves, you went beyond your profession of helping others build financial freedom through credit to your platform. You can only touch a limited amount of lives in your profession, but you have limitless potential when you build a platform. There's a difference. But that platform has a legal container around it called an LLC or S Corp or whatever else, and speakers and coaches are not exempt. They're just not knowledgeable on how to use that vehicle to leverage financial avenues, funding, grants, or credit.
Mm-hmm. Man, Dave, do you have any questions before I ask my first question? Because I feel like I don't even need to ask no question. Melissa's just gonna take off. Now, Melissa,
I want to hear what you got for me and what the people have. I want to be as exact as possible, and especially talk about how to earn $100K as a speaker.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna ask my question, but you guys job in the chat. I want you to be, I ain't gonna say selfish. I don't have the right words, but I'm gonna say selfish. Ask any question you want to know about how speaking or using your own voice right now, along with probably good credit, is going to help you change your life for the better. But I got a question. What do you think are the most important qualities or skills of a successful speaker?
You all know this, but I'm gonna teach it so your people know it too. Great speakers are great writers, and great writers are great thinkers. If you don't take the time to sit with your own story, why should someone else care to listen to your story? Mm-hmm. Great speakers don't just speak on a stage. You master communication, which is a two-way street, not a one-way monologue. Speaking is a dialogue between you and the audience because they are literally thinking and communicating with you silently as they listen. It's really important as a speaker. You have to be so self-aware and really healed. You have to be really healed. And what I mean by that is anything you've experienced on your journey is, I hate to say it, it's not just good stage material, but it's a masterclass on how someone else can go through it. So you have to be really good at what I call identifying your mile markers. Like great speakers can look at the highs and lows of your life and recognize, like, I call them activations. They're activations. And an activation is a moment like where I have reached a crossroads my life is about to change from this one choice I'm about to make, for the good or the better. And those situations, when you connect the dots, if you don't take the time to sit in the journal and to write and to meditate and to pray and whatever it is you do to keep yourself whole, if you don't take the time to do that, you don't have a connected story. You're not connected with yourself. So how are you going to connect with a perfect stranger in an audience or a sea of thousands of people?
Mm.
A lot of people want a platform or a stage, but there's a responsibility to make everybody in that room feel like they personally know you. But you got to know yourself.
Wow, that's amazing. I think we had a conversation, me, Dave, and Tanya, and what we were talking about was what we want. And I heard another speaker talking about it, and he was talking about power.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you can take the power or you can give the power. But one thing you need to convey to your audience is they have all the power they need, and you need to get better. And a lot of people don't want the responsibility of the power because, we probably been taught the way power was treated the wrong way more than how it was treated the good way. But yeah, I think that's what I was trying to focus on more is by giving power to people because, quite frankly, a lot of people are scared to take it because they don't know what the good side of power looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, you got any other questions before I get more selfish on here? Because nobody in the chat asked no questions. I'm about to get busy. You know what I'm saying? I got 30 questions. I'm ready.
Stop your questions. Now's the time. And let me say this. Some of y'all are probably listening right now, and this is what I sent. Some of y'all are like, okay, this sounds good, Melissa, but I'm not a speaker. I'm not trying to build a platform. Or, hey, I have a product, good, or service. I'm just trying to build my business and get this money. Well, let me help you out. Even if you're at a job right now or in your business, you're going to need the skill of speaking and using your voice to go stand and pitch to even get funding. You're going to need the skills of speaking and communication. Like my first 100K I earned was not as a speaker, but it was using the skill of speaking in corporate America to even negotiate to get a salary over 6 figures. So I had to be a really good speaker to do that. You don't realize that speaking is about not only advocating for others, but yourself. You got to learn how to speak up for yourself and know your worth, but speak your worth out loud because can't nobody pay you what you don't ask for.
So how do you communicate? Hold on. How do you communicate that to your boss? How do you communicate, or how do you do that?
The same way you get somebody to buy a product, good, or service. Value. I remember the very first time I had to negotiate a salary, and here's a book for you. Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. One of my mentors sent me that book. And shout out to my mom. Like I always have to pay homage to her because the greatest speaking coach I ever had is my momager. Like she understood, like, okay, wait, if they offered you this, if they offered you 80, that means they had another 20,000 set aside and they don't expect you to negotiate for it. Like someone had to teach me that. Like the first offer is never the final offer in their mind. That's the rule of negotiation, but we're not taught that. So that's why I say like the business of speaking, the business of negotiating. And I had to learn that. And when it worked in corporate, I was like, if it worked in corporate, surely it can work for me in my own business speaking. So I had to take that same skill of I literally, and this is a real story. One of my last corporate jobs, after getting my MBA and I was moving on to another position, I was working for a corporation that was closing, and they wrote me great recommendations. And I'll never forget, y'all. I was in a job interview at a Starbucks, and the director who was interviewing me, she said, "Hey, this is just your first round of interviews. You told me, like I was going in and said, oh, it's 75,000. That should be good." She whispered in my ear, she said, "When you go for your panel interview, tell them 90.
Yes.
She didn't have to tell me that.
Yeah.
She didn't owe me that. She could have just been like, well, let the company keep their money. She don't know her value. So fast forward, one thing I learned, and again, like sometimes you got to really pay attention to how other people move. You can define the others however you want to, but I had to learn from the others, meaning the ones who really knew the game and how to climb the ladder. Like I started keeping my stats. Just like you guys do your stats on your YouTube channel, you do stats and you look at your numbers. Know your numbers, man. Like if you in business, know your numbers. I had to know my numbers in corporate, and I have to know my numbers over here. I had to know, okay, if this company manages assets and properties, because my background was in the real estate industry as a trainer. And if I know you managing a multi-million-dollar asset, and I just turned around your asset, you went from 80% occupied to 100% occupied under my supervision in less than 120 days, then I just made you X number of millions of dollars. So now when I come ask you for another $30,000, it shouldn't be an issue because I just made you $3 million. If you don't know that stuff, then you have no leverage. So the same goes with as a speaker. Like I go in and I say, hey, okay. They're like, yeah, we accepted your proposal. We want you to come in, but our budget is a little limited and we can't pay you. Some of y'all, this is real thing. You figure, well, I'm just gonna get in the room. I'm gonna go for free. They're like, we can't pay for your travel. Oh, we can't pay your honorarium, but we'll cover your ticket. And I say, you know what? As a matter of fact, speaking of that ticket, I see you're anticipating about 10,000 people attending your event, and this is your price point. At what point, how much of that budget did you set aside to pay your speakers? Because your top tier speaker is $20,000. If I'm asking you for 5, surely we can find somewhere in the budget because your people are going to go back to your company and earn you X number of dollars back. I hope that didn't go too fast or over here. Because the same negotiation I used in corporate was the same negotiation I had to go show them what Melissa was worth in somebody's boardroom or at their conference. So, and it's the same skills you're going to need. And here's the thing. There are even companies who won't hire you if you have bad credit. There are also businesses who won't give you credit if you don't have good credit as a speaker. I would much rather have my business has better credit than my personal credit. Why? Because I was very intentional of knowing I needed my business in rooms. And I needed the name of my company in rooms in front of the people who could pay me because I knew the value. I understood that the business itself is an asset. I also knew the divisions of my business. Say in the last 3 years after leaving my last corporate job, I said there's one division that I plan to sell in the next 5 to 8 years. The only way you could sell, and I mean, like literally, I wanted to build a coaching and speaking business that somebody else would want to pay me for.
That's right.
That means you have to understand the value in your voice. I know how much my speeches are worth, but someone had to sit down and show me, how do you do a valuation on an intangible good like your voice? You look at the numbers.
Always.
How many people have heard this speech? How many people are repurposing your content and how many people are watching your videos? Start going live now and speaking to the virtual stage, and that'll tell you the value of your live stage. I can show them like, hey, this is X number of thousands of people watch this video of me speaking in India. So what's your company going to pay me? If you don't know that, if you don't care enough to study you, why should they listen to you?
Right.
All right. Woo! Melissa. All right, cool. Hey, this is so powerful. We decided to give you more time. Do you
I'm not
have
taking nobody else's time, am I? Like, for real?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, do you have the time? Because I'm
here for y'all, man. You got my time the rest of the afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, you're not chopping over nobody else's time. I promise.
You know, okay. I want to make sure. I want to respect that.
Cool. So we want to get into answering the people's questions because
Yes,
your message was so powerful. It transformed them to start typing. They start asking questions.
Come on with it.
I'm gonna read a couple of them. I'm gonna read this one off right here. My nonprofit and where it's headed is much bigger than myself. I'm getting scared to speak now because I don't feel worthy enough to lead this charge. How do you get out of your own way? That's a good question.
Let me help you. First question to you is, and these are real journal prompts. Well, this is a real live activation, okay? And I hope you got pen and paper to write this down. If not, go back and watch the replay and sit with what I'm about to say. Why did you start your nonprofit in the first place if you didn't feel worthy? If not you, who else is equipped to do it if not you? Okay, so maybe you're struggling with believing in yourself. How about the people who are attached to the other side of what you do? If you are in the service space, the fact that you have started a nonprofit lets me know a considerable amount about you and your heart. I have a mentor that once said to me, broke people don't change the world. Use what you love to fight what you hate. Nonprofits, foundations, world-changing organizations are started because there's something you hate so much that you wanted to do something about And so that means you have to now not only leverage your voice, but you have to have the funding to impact real change.
Yes.
No real change ever happens from broke people, man. And unfortunately, we've allowed ourselves to be so suppressed
Mm-hmm.
and let others dictate to us because they have money. Because in many circles, money equals power. You have more power than you think. What if speaking now leverages your power to get resources unlimited to you? What if God wanted to change your prayer for money and he put the money in your mouth and he said, I want to give you money, but you won't speak yet? What if you never had to fundraise again for your nonprofit and you didn't have to rely on grants and donations, and a $10,000 check for 1 hour of speaking changes the whole trajectory of how you serve people? It's not about you, my love.
Mm-hmm.
Begin to speak and watch it change for you and the people you serve. I hope that helps.
All right.
Look, I've been sitting over here trying to wait for my turn to double dutch. You know how you double dutching and you see somebody jumping in, and I'm like, I'm about to get it. Girl, let me tell you something. The thing that I love about you is you're authentic, number one, but you get it. And I think that part of you really understand the bigger picture is what excites me when you speak, because people don't understand that everything, and I would call it, you say speaking, I say sales. You talked about sales the whole way through, but you talked about it in a very place of integrity. Most people who are disingenuous, they talk about sales based on selfishness. When you talked about sales based on focusing on the other people. And when you get yourself out the way, you can sell something. But as long as the sale is about you, you cannot really help the people. So I've been sitting here trying my best to be patient. Because, girl, if people could just understand that $100,000 that's the minimum.
That's the minimum. It's nothing in today's society. Y'all seen inflation? Y'all bought eggs and milk lately? Like, it's nothing.
It's nothing. But people don't understand. You know, I was thinking about when you were speaking, there's the story in the good book that talks about this lady, and she was poor and she's like freaking out, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And the prophet says, what do you have? Stop talking about what you don't have. And you just said you have your mouth. Girl,
if I don't have nothing else, I thank God every day that my feet hit the floor of the gift of words. Language has taken me around the world. If I had to start over today, I am thankful. I have a story and I have my mouth and I got this cell phone.
Yep.
And everybody in my phone better know I can speak. Hey, you need somebody to come speak at your church. You need somebody at your school. You need somebody.
Yeah.
You better start speaking. And the only reason, back to that story, the only reason that she stopped pouring is that she stopped putting down jars. That's
it. That's the only and the only reason why I bring that up is because people were talking about it today of how you can make $100,000 if you discipline yourself to perfect this craft of speaking. It's coming.
It's coming. It's not only can I do a mindset? Your $100,000 isn't coming, it's here.
Yes, you better go, girl.
And it's in your mouth. It just hasn't caught up to your bank account yet.
Yes.
True story. I understood I had a humanitarian effort that required $20,000 and I needed that $20,000 in like 90 days. The average person would freak out and be like, I can't get $20,000 for nothing. They doing GoFundMe's and all that. And I almost went that route. And can I tell you, I'm sorry, if I'm a faith-based person. So if I speak faith and that ain't your faith, I'm sorry, just apply your belief to what I'm about to say to you. But I went praying and I'm on my face and I'm like, oh, how can I get this $20,000? And the first thing the Lord said to me was, raise your prices. Now, y'all ain't used to that. He was like, I never told you to give a discount. I never told you to be doing this for free. As a matter of fact, that's just like if I gave you speeches and I gave you your voice, I expected you to come back with money. That's the return on the investment I put in you. So I literally went from, here's the fact, when you talk about the question of how to help people earn 100K, I had to earn 100K and raise my price so somebody else could believe it was possible. So
Absolutely.
that's how I was able to raise and get money like over $25,000 for a humanitarian effort in over 90 days, because I realized, okay, I can coach my way at do $1,000 of coaching, 10,000, however many thousand times over, or I can do this one speech for $10,000. Now, here's the thing: don't raise your price and not raise your value, but that's another class.
That's the whole.
But you gotta know, like, oh shoot, and then I started testing it out. And when I raised my price, now it take a whole lot of faith. It take a whole lot of faith to come out your mouth. And the people who were once paying you $1,500 one month, you say, "Hey, I know you want to work with me again, but it's $7,500, and I'm gonna tell you why." Say, "Oh, I trust you. I believe it." And on the back end side of that, to have those same people come to you and say, "Hey, it wasn't about me investing. I believe in you. I had to invest in myself to be accountable because I want to charge $10,000 or more.
Absolutely.
I invest $10,000 or more.
Absolutely.
So I don't ever charge what I myself have not invested and seen a return on for myself."
Yes. And it gives other people an opportunity to invest in themselves so
Yes.
they can charge more. So
You
if you're not in place, it prevents me from being in place. So you really help people
Mhm.
to learn how this thing is done. I'm sorry.
No,
Go
you
ahead, because
good.
look, I
But
could
here's
not
the
sit
thing.
here
Here's the
anymore.
thing. Did you hear me say I earned $25,000 free and clear? But let me be clear about how I did that. It was 2 speeches and one mastermind client. It took 3 people to get to the 25,000. It used to take me hundreds of people to make 10,000.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So it's about exertion and capacity.
Yes.
I exerted less energy for a greater return because I've earned the right.
Yes.
And
You
what
put the
I've
work in. Yes, ma'am. You put the work in.
So some of y'all need to start going through your computer and through your DMs. All the people that's been clapping for you and applauding what you're doing, you better gather all of those testimonials. And when you get scared about charging your worth to get to that $100,000, you better start reading all those comments about people that was praising you, because all of those people are now making money from something that you taught them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's okay. But we need to be that example so people understand. We talk about creating wealth. It starts with, you need to know how to negotiate. You need to know how to sell, and you very comfortable, because you really hurt people when you don't sell. That's all I'm saying.
You're letting them live with the problem that you could have solved.
That you could have solved. Girl, I couldn't sit in the green room no more and let you keep talking, because I was
Are
like,
you guys getting value from this? Like I said, you may have been listening to this and said, "Oh, I'm not a speaker. I don't." Nice, everybody's a speaker.
everybody.
Hey, type transformation if you got transform real quick.
Type it in the chat.
I need everybody to type transformation. Woo. Your own value. Mm-hmm.
Hey Dave, I want to say before we continue, I want to say thank you for turning a credit repair page into this right here just for the day, because I know we struggle with trying to.
It's more about this. Hey, you already know how we talk. Credit is life.
Yes.
Credit
This is life. It's communicating, investing, real estate, turning your mouth into a cash flow machine. All this is.
It's all part of it.
All part of life. And if nobody gonna teach you, we gonna teach you. Because a lot of people out here tell you hope. Ain't no selling hope. We all here with instructions.
Yeah.
Transformation. They say transformation. Melissa, they say
I see it. I'm looking at the chat. Y'all lighting it up. And I promise you, I'm not telling you something someone hyped me up and told me. I'm telling you what I'm living.
Yes.
If I'll say this and then I'll yield my time. Step 1, go back and look at your own receipts. Go back and do your comments on your social media. Go back to your clients. Start asking them, "Hey, what value have I added to your life? What information have you experienced within the first month with me, the first 90 days with me?" Start using that and say, "Hey, do I have permission to other people? Because I want to change more lives like you. Can I do that?" And I promise you that will give you the confidence to go from charging $1,000 or free to charging a fee. It gives you the confidence, because I promise there's some people that want to pay you, but because your price is too low, they're not even looking at you.
I can't.
The other thing
I can't.
I challenge you to be intentional. That you can serve one. I say speaking on stages is like serving the masses. Like that, I can coach one person one-on-one, or I can coach thousands of people at one time from a stage. So
Yeah.
I challenge you, if you are a coach or you're a service provider, are there conferences? Here's the second thing. Go Google, or even do you can do a Google alerts for speaker proposals in your particular industry, right? Speaker proposals for the finance industry. Call for speakers. Thank you. That's it. Do a Google alert, or go follow the hashtag call for speakers. Go to Eventbrite and just start looking for events in your area, and then find the gap. You have a whole bunch of speakers in one industry, but they're missing your industry. Like I tell Mike and Dave, like, hey, yeah, you don't just serve people hand over fist, you serve financial institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Because your free game, your videos are making people go get credit from them. So why would they not hire you? So go look at institutions and companies who need what you offer. You don't have to just serve hand over fist, go serve at mass. And the last thing I'll say is be accountable. Get in a community like this where people are not going to let you play small. They're not going to let you discount.
Yeah.
They're going to challenge you, speak up, and help you get in your reps. Like that Mike and Dave and I, we connected because we're a part of a coaching fam where you don't get to just show up and be quiet. You better open your mouth. And you better ask for the information. And then the last thing, and I'll borrow this from our coach, is the speed of execution. The faster you execute on what we talked about today, is the faster you're going to see the return on your investment and hit your 100K. That's my
absolutely. No.
Yeah.
Man.
You know, I already love you. So, I mean, no, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That was your last words, Melissa?
Yeah.
Like I said, I want to be respectful, but I want to give you enough to know that my hope is that some of you were truly activated, to be like, yo, I've been too quiet.
Yes.
And there's literally money in my mouth, not just the ability to speak and manifest it, but the ability to go out and get it. Yeah. And you can follow me at Melissa D. White on all platforms, and you can DM me Transformation. I'll know you came from here. For a special offer to not only get a discount on my course for activating your voice, but also work one-on-one if you're ready to invest at that level.
Ooh, hey, y'all heard it. And Melissa, are you going to be coming into our community maybe one time every 6 months or something? But we need this.
We have something going.
Yeah, look, we already done worked that out. So we ought to work that out. So everybody needs to stay tuned.
Like this is my connection with Mike, Dave, and Tanya is the byproduct of speaking up.
Yeah.
It's the byproduct of speaking up. And don't let ego keep you from your opportunity, your partnership. I don't know everything.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, like I know a little something about credit, but I'm trying to get on their level. So I had to say, hey, I need your help. And they said, hey, we need your help too. This was the byproduct of being humble, showing up, and speaking up. So
that's right. That's right.
My email address, if somebody can help me and type it in the chat.
Actually, well, if hold on. If you guys text the office, we will give you all the speakers' information in one. Just text the office. We'll make sure we'll get that out to you. Dave, can you give them the number again? Because I did not write it down.
407-863-3024.
Nice.
And my boy Mike put it up on it.
Yeah. Look, everybody does, doing their part.
Text transformation.
Yeah, and we'll make sure you guys get the contact information of all the speakers today.
Mr. Last.
Man. The reason why, Melissa, you're just close to my heart because, I love to sell. And so the first part of selling is you have to communicate. And all the principles that you teach is the principles that I teach when I'm teaching somebody selling. Mm-hmm. And what's so great is that there's, some people don't have to be in the foreground, but I can still benefit so many people by connecting you with someone else. And that's what sales is. I connect the right people with the right people, and I'm selling. And that's the part people don't understand. People think that sales is something sleazy. Sales is the most honorable thing you could do when you're doing it from the right spot. So I could not sit back here, and I had to give you your flowers publicly, but that's why I love it, because if people can speak, they can sell from the right spot. And that's my bigger thing. It's like, you have to be a person of integrity. You have to be focused on the audience more than yourself. But if you do that and you have something beneficial and you're not selling, shame on you.
Shame on you. And here's the thing: restore integrity back to speaking and coaching. Well, if not you, then who? Who else is going to bring
Absolutely.
it back to what we do? So thank you all. I appreciate the love in the comments. Like real talk. Like, hey,
Girl.
it would make me so incredibly proud and grateful to see you all on stages. Like, it's your time.
Yes.
Earning the income while doing it.
Yes.
All right, Melissa, thank you so much. Oh man,
That's my girl.
I'm gonna go to sleep after this, bro. My I'm gonna need a rest. All right, Melissa.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye.
Hey, Dave, boy. Woo-wee.
I told y'all. Man.
So we might need a separate YouTube for this. What y'all think? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Because we need something that's after you get your credit fixed, what are you going to do with the income? What are you going to do with the 100K after you get it? We had 3 or 4 people that already came up that gave you ideas and that should be having your mind spinning a little bit. Tanya, you want to go more into that?
No, I was just thinking about it. And y'all don't kill me, but see, what you guys are seeing today is what Dave and Mike really think about while they're not on camera. They're always thinking about how do we help more? How can we give real value? This is what they do. So all of this is the brainchild of hours and hours and hours of how do we really make a difference? And the reason why I'm pointing that out is that you're just seeing some of it coming out. So if you're not connected with Dave and Mike and the credit team, you're missing out because this is so much bigger than just credit. Credit was just the entree to have the discussion. But the transformation and making sure it's lasting and it sticks, that's the goal. So you've started to see the partners that we're working with, and we have more to come. And it's going to be funny because they trying to do other things just to make sure this information is really getting down in your soul. You guys are executing. And I'm just like, I'm sitting over here like a kid at Christmas. I'm so happy right now.
Yeah. So without further ado, I want to introduce our next guest, Tanya.
Hi.
Gave y'all a little bit of what she's about and what we do. But this is our chance to highlight you, Tanya. You do a lot of stuff for us in the background, and the accolades I want to give you is like I don't even know how many. Like I think of something new every day. I'm like, Tanya, you weren't sent to do sales. You weren't sent to do business. You weren't sent to talk. Like. Tanya be coaching me in so many ways. I'm like, oh my goodness, what did I do to deserve this?
Because I believe in what you guys are doing, and people who know me know that I cannot sell something I don't believe in. That's not me. And so you guys are really trying to help the community, not just by talk, by actions. And so anybody like that, I'm behind 1,001%. So thank you guys so much. But Melissa did a great job starting off the conversation. I teach people how to sell. There's a lot of people who want to have these businesses and business credit and real estate and do well at their job. But if you cannot sell, you are leaving money on the table. You understand what I mean? You are going to leave money on the table. And I think one of the things Melissa says so well is because you really don't understand your value. She talked about a situation that brought up one of my situations where I had to negotiate. A corporation asked me to head up the entire sales division, but they wanted to pay me $30,000 less than my predecessor. But because I knew how to negotiate, I got my worth and then some. So selling is more about understanding a skill set than actually, trying to peddle little pencils and cups and things like that. And so that's what I like doing. I like training people on how to sell. And so they can help people get what they really want and get paid by doing so. You get paid for doing the right thing.
So
Yes, sir.
We know you love selling. We know you love out here
I do.
getting the money. But we talk all the time. You came up with this crazy phrase on how do you sell. Can you explain it?
Yeah, I like selling to serve. So the whole idea of serving is really my focus on people. So when I sell, like I told you guys a second ago, I'm the person that gets to talk to people at their point of decision. And so the way I do that is by serving. I start the conversation. We examine, what's really going on with them, and then we try to reveal the underlining motivation, and then I help them visualize the possibilities or the transformation, and then we walk through so I can explain all their concerns away. That's serving, and I get to do that with people. And the beautiful part about when you really sell and you're at that decision point and they make the decision that is best for, there is nothing like it. No commission check can replace the feeling that you knew that you were a part of them doing something productive for yourself. It's amazing, amazing. And I love teaching people and training people on how to do it. So that's what I do.
Hey, all right. So, all right, we already talked about it before, but how can you?
Oh, Sam, thank you.
Oh, how can you help people get access to or help them earn 100K with your skill?
So I like getting people to earn it because once you understand you can earn it, you're unstoppable. If you get access to it, somebody can take it away. But if you know how to fish for yourself, it's just a matter of you got to get me to the water. I can fish for myself. So that's how I do it. Most salespeople, and when they're really good, $100,000 is it's the bottom line. And the reason why I love sales the most is because nobody could put a cap on your earning potential. So I went from being an assistant when I first started in corporate America. I was somebody's assistant. Well, they gave me a cap. There was only a certain bandwidth I could make. I moved that my same tenacity and things like that, moved into sales, and I was uncapped. So making $100,000 once you know how to sell is the minimum. It's the minimum you could do. So
Tanya,
any other question? Yep. Nobody can stop your earning potential. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like I hear all these people wanting to be in business and things like that. You must learn how to sell. If you cannot sell, the likelihood of you being successful is reduced. That is a skill set that is not even optional when you're in business. Now, learning how to sell based on your personality, that can be taught, but you have to make up your mind to sell, or you're not in business. You're doing something else. You have a hobby or something else.
When we first started, I was never scared to sell. But then I realized what I was doing. I wasn't selling people. I was helping them make the decision to change their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just started getting easier after that because I wasn't afraid of them saying no, because what I knew was 5 years ago, they was in the same position they was when they called me on the phone.
Yeah.
And my hope was 5 years later, I'll still be there when they finally realized that they made a bad decision and that they didn't let that bad decision haunt them.
Yeah, it's the psychology of sales. And when we talk about the art of selling is when you really help people get what they say they want. So you help them really like what's really going on. And if you really want to change and I have an offer to give you to help you get there, I'm helping you do that. So when you think about it that way, you get out of the results because it's not about you. So it's good that you started thinking that way because now you're helping more people because it's not about you. It's about really being in position. So when people want to move forward, they can they have somebody they could trust to help them get there. help them get there. So
So I know you've been on thousands and thousands and thousands of conversations, and you notice, why do people get scared to give the money, like afraid to actually make a decision?
yeah, so the number one reason people are scared to move forward is really fear. It's the scare. Um, we are really taught to just stay safe, even if we're in a bad situation. So you ever wonder why a woman can stay in an abusive situation for years after years after years? That's what she knows. That's safe. It's hard to make the decision to change and you've never been there. So I'm going to tell you to go to China and you have no clue of what China looks like. That's why sales is important, because I need for you to trust me. And that's why selling with integrity is a big deal. But if you trust me and I lead you to the right place, now you can move forward. Most people are so scared of making the wrong decision. They don't want to get from a bad situation to another bad situation or a worse situation. So that's what the big deal is. Whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's, I don't know, bartering for an iPad, it doesn't matter. It's that exchange. Am I making the right decision? Is this really going to get me closer to what I want? That's it. And if you can help people with their fear and really unleash their real power and potential, they can kill the game. Most of the, just side note, the people who you guys are mentoring right now, the more they trust you, the better they do. Because they just trust, they really do. They like, hey, what I do now? Okay. And they do it, and then they see the result, and guess what? It deepens their trust. This thing is about trust. And if somebody's fearful, it's hard for them to move, even though they know it's good for them.
So how do you help, how can somebody overcome their fear?
So Melissa actually dealt with it. You got to be honest and transparent. So when I'm on the call, when I start the call out, that starting is important. So I kind of walk them through, hey, this is how the conversation is going to go. And the reason why I'm telling them, because I already know they're a little apprehensive, they're concerned. They already think all salespeople are sleazy. So I need them to know I'm not your typical salesperson. So if you're on the phone with me, this is what we're about to do. So there's no surprises. And I'm very upfront with them. And people like the fact that they can see. So the more I let them see where we're going, the better it is. And so they begin to trust what I say. And then also, I'm going to let them know, hey, look, I'm going to have to ask you some questions because I'm listening to say, is this going to be good for you? Because if it's not, I'm going to tell you that well. Now, see, a lot of people can't say that because people lie when they sell, and so they can't say that. I will tell you if it's not a fit, and I will walk away from the money. We've done that. We've done that as a group. Like, I will leave the money on the table. I love playing dominoes. All money ain't good money. So I will leave the money on the table. Why? Because it's more important that we do the right thing than get any money. So.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, hey, I'm gonna let y'all know, man. It was hard for me to let go of the money, boy. But Tanya and Dave, my ear, like, yo, it's not where we want to go. Tanya, like, hey, where do you want to go? And I'm like, I want to serve and help people. You know what I'm saying? But you know, as more and more as I talk to Dave and Tanya, I realized that my thinking was kind of limited, but now I'm getting better. And I hope you guys are all seeing a transformational journey right now and within yourselves, because I get to do this all day. This is what I do all day. I listen to Dave, Tanya, and I get poured into. I feel like I'm in a bubble bath.
But I think one of the things that is important, that you have to have a community, because what I'm good at, somebody else may not be good at, but what y'all are good at, I'm definitely not good at. And I can tell you guys, listen, marketing is not my thing. I thought they were crazy with all this marketing jargon and things like that. But now that I understand, they've made me a better salesperson because I understand marketing. So I think the humility to understand, hey, this is my gift, but I'm not, I need people. and I need a strong, what we call it, think tank around us to help us get better. So that's it. That's
Man.
it.
Man, this thing is crazy, boy.
But here's, and I will always commend you for doing it. You didn't have to use your platform to expose people. You didn't have to use your platform to expose people to this information. And that is a testament to who you are. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people they don't share their stage. It's about them, what they're trying to do, and things like that. But that's not what you're about. And so the more that people get to see who you are and your character, the more, in my opinion, they can trust you, because what they see is pretty much what they get. Actually, if I could just get a camera on how many times we are fighting because we're trying to give you guys the best. You get what I'm saying? It's like no okie doke, no half, it's like we're trying to do the best. And that's what I like. That's what I like doing it. That's why I'm here. Till the wheels fall off. All right, we got some more good speakers, but I appreciate you guys letting me tell them, hey, yes, I do operation, but I'm trying to get people to open their mouth and sell something. The value. Let me just put the value on there.
Oh yeah. All right, so next we got Brandon coming up. I can say a lot of things about Brandon, but what I don't want to do is put him in a pigeonhole or put him in a box, because every time Brandon talks to me, it's something else, it's something new, it's something that I guess I got Dave and Tanya that teach me a lot of things. Brandon teach me a lot of things as well. So I try to be people who teach me stuff, I try to be condescending of the time. Like I try not to go over, but Brandon, man, he just give it. And he was the first person I knew besides Dave that gave everything, and he didn't hold back at all, even gave you a process. So I'm gonna bring him up real quick and I'm gonna let him really introduce himself. So so you guys can know.
I hope y'all got something to drink. Because if
yes.
y'all don't drink with Brandon, y'all might as well.
All right, I'm about to bring him up now.
What up, people? How y'all feeling? Dave, Mike. How you doing, Queen?
Hey, long time no see.
Oh, for sure. How long has it been? Has it been a long time?
It has been a long time. I'm so looking forward to this, because the last time you showed up, you helped their mentees.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was okay. Yeah,
see,
I was on that call. Got it.
It was good. So I got my pen. I'm ready. I've got my pen.
For sure, appreciate it. I don't really have a huge intro. I don't know who we're talking to right now, but my name is Brandon Shotme. I'm a photography coach, and I also do video marketing for entrepreneurs and business brands. To keep it simple.
All right, cool. Well, I'll drive you, because I know you got so much knowledge that we'll be on here all day. All right, so
whichever way you want to go.
All right, cool.
I'm about money. I'm about it.
All right. Yeah, so how can you help people get access to or help them earn $100,000 a year?
$100,000 a year. Okay. The first thing you want to do is have a high value skill set that you can charge premium for. Right. Preferably, I recommend doing a service that is done for you. Right. You want to have something that's done for you, and also you want to turn it done for you into a DIY. So let me explain. Let's say that you are your skill set can be a plumber. Right. You want to find something. What's something I can do that I can charge $1,000 for, like doing plumbing. And then after so now you can get 10. Now your goal is to get 10 people to pay you $1,000, right, for that particular month. And then from there, you want to also, because that done for you is going to pay you every single month. And then from there, you want to go and do DIY. So something that is something you can coach and show people how to actually do plumbing services. That makes sense. Okay. So the good thing about it is, if you have something that's a lower ticket, it's going to be tough for you to get to your goal faster. So your $47, your $97, whatever, which is fine. You don't create your little ebook. You don't listen to everybody online. They tell you to create an ebook for $10, but you need to have something that's $1,000 plus. So once you hop on a sales call with somebody, If you know you can get $1,000 to $2,000 at the internet call, this phone call or sales call was worth it, and you only need a few of those a month to be able to hit your goal, as opposed to trying to set up automation, whatever, and try to sell $1,097 ebooks. Go and have a high value premium service that you can charge $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for. Premium pricing is the quickest way to get there. And if it's not premium, make it premium. So let me give you an example. I talked to somebody yesterday, and the guy, he said he did thumbnails. He was like, how can I turn these thumbnails into like, a high value service? I want to have people pay me every single month. I said, well, the thumbnail is not what people want. People want like the YouTube service. So you need to create a YouTube done for you. So as opposed to trying to do thumbnails, $50 thumbnail and get $500 a month, you can do I do everything YouTube. I'll post, I'll do the edits for you, whatever. Once you learn that, now you can charge $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month.
Yes. Yeah.
YouTube clients. So think about what you do, and because what you do, sometimes that's not what people are looking for. If you think thumbnails is it, that's not what people looking for. People are looking for YouTube. If you just do editing, people aren't looking for editing. People are looking for whatever the solution is. If you do plumbing, people aren't looking for just like, just to fix your toilet, looking for like, how can you revamp my entire bathroom?
Oh, yeah, I get it now. Damn,
Yeah.
I've been thinking too small. Hey, look, Brandon, you told us this a long time ago,
Okay.
and we just now implementing it because we was credit for so long. You were like, bro, you got like 16 credit cards in your back pocket, and you ain't teaching nobody. And we was thinking about it. We was like, wow. And then we launched our credit CEO program. So now we teach credit repair business owners to do exactly what we did with our same framework. So they don't even got to guess.
Yeah, you got to guess. Yep.
Hey, see, I'm telling you, the Jedi, bro.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
So Brandon, we know that you code at photos, code at branding, code at marketing.
Right.
So once they have this high value skill, right? They got the skill.
Okay.
How do they brand themselves to attract that person?
Gotcha. So one, you want to niche down and have something unique about you, right?
Yes.
So if you're doing something that's like credit repair, brand yourself as like, if I did credit repair, I'll be like, I use artificial intelligence to help people repair their credit in less than 90 days. That's something unique. We're already in artificial intelligence. And now this person, it has something, this person is better than AI credit repair guy is better than this person because they include an AI. There's something they're doing special. And you're probably already doing the same thing. You probably just type in ChatGPT to help with a letter, but it's nothing separate. It's nothing different that you're doing. But the fact that you said AI in there, it seems like you separated yourself from the pack, as opposed to being branding solutions. Now you're average. Now you're regular. Now you're like everyone else. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, another idea is to niche down. That's something that also separates you. So as opposed to doing like everything credit repair and all things like that, let's say you just strictly focus on, listen, I help you get, $100,000 in funding in 60 days, guaranteed. Right. So we know you're the 100K funding guy. This is the 2-month 100K. Whether other people have you get 100K, what separated you is because you do it in a time frame. So all these things separate you. So we know you're the go-to person for this. And the crazy thing about it is the service that we have right now, we just have to find a way to make it the offer better. So what we do is already good. The reason why we can't charge a lot because the offer sucks.
Can you wait? Spend some time right there, please. Take your time on that one. What do you mean the offer sucks? Come on now.
Well, we just said it. So like if you're doing credit repair and everybody does credit repair, what makes me go to you as opposed to anybody else?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like my process, we got the same letters, we got the same process. And it doesn't have to be anything that big or that deep, right? I do funny videos where it's like your videographer is trash. So just because I come out and say your other videographers suck, I'm willing to say that. People assume that I'm better than most.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy? Never seen a video before in their life, but people automatically assume that I'm better than most. Ain't that crazy? I don't even have a camera. Like I'll have a camera, but like I don't use it. People don't see me shooting ever. But people assume and say this guy must be the best because he says everybody else sucks. How bold is he?
All right, Brandon. Okay, well, how did you do that in the videography space?
Well, that's what I did. I did a video. I did a lot of it. I said your videographer is trash. And they're laughing because I'm talking about what videographers do. I said videographers that show up late. So you automatically assume I must don't show up late. Videographers give you a slow turnaround time. So your assumption is this guy must turn around videos fast.
Wow. Okay. No. Specifically, I meant how did you create an offer in on your for
Gotcha. I'm tracking. Okay, cool. So what I did was we know that if I just shoot videos, it's not enough. So if I come in and say, let's say I just interviewed somebody, I just got interviewed earlier from a podcast and I was telling them the same thing. They got a podcast, right? So if you come and say, come and shoot my podcast. Let's say you pay me $100 or $500. If I come in and I turn the camera on and I just say, hey, go and do what you do, pose, do your own podcast, there's no value to that. If you have no value to yourself, you're easily replaced. Right? If there's no value in what you do, you're easily replaced. So if you just shoot and edit, that's not enough. So essentially what I did was I took the thinking or the guesswork out of the things that I'm shooting. So if I'm shooting somebody doing a podcast, how about I help you come up with the host name? How about I help you come up with the titles? How about I help you strategize? So now you don't have to think about what you have to do. You just show up and shoot, right? I do all the thinking for you. So once I take all the guesswork, I'm able to charge more.
That's so good. Yeah, that's so good.
So the fact that I have to, or you have to do more work, the more work you have to do, the less I can charge.
That's so good. That's
so
good.
If I'm selling whatever I'm selling, the more work that you have to do, the less I can charge. But the less work you have to do, the more I can charge.
That's good.
So if I remove thinking, I charge more. If I remove shooting and editing, I charge more. Just if I remove strategy, I charge more. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So now I was able to go from charging $500 a video to now charging $5,000 to $7,000 a month.
Woo!
Per client.
Oh my goodness.
So can I ask a question? So when you started out, did you know that? How did you because we see you today.
Gotcha. I'm trying.
Tell me about the transformation from when you started out to today.
Absolutely. I got you. Stop hanging around broke people.
With a straight face. Okay. Give me a minute. Why did you have to stop hanging around broke people to accomplish this?
Yes. That's a question for you, Brandon. Did you hear it?
I don't know if you heard it. We was laughing hard.
He did.
He let the marinate. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
And he said it was a straight. You already know he said it too.
That to me, he uses so well. He uses humor to make his point like nobody else that I've known.
That is, I don't think people realize once, when I quit my job in 2016, I caught a DUI. I spent my first night in jail, right? I was hanging around coworkers, obviously everyday employees. When I quit my job in 2016, of course, I read a book. I haven't read a book since high school during this time. Quit my job. I met up with an entrepreneur and I kind of served and I shot him for free for 2 years. During that time, I hung around millionaires, business owners stuff every single day. And I realized that these were the people I needed to hang around. So every day I'm having conversations about, recurring revenue, making $1 million, all these different plays, all these different business ideas. And I never hung around a photographer videographer ever in my life. I've never been friends with another photographer and videographer before. So I hang around other people who are making like you are. If you look at the last 5 people that you text, the last 5 people that you call, who are they? Were they people who added value to your life or took away? Were they people who are somebody who you can make money with, or they have money conversation, or y'all just talk about bullshit, or y'all always talking about big mama drama, or they taking from you?
Yeah,
that does not exclude mama, sister, cousin, auntie, baby, daddy. That does not exclude family members.
That's wow. I'm checking my text messages, y'all. I'm sorry.
No, that's a good word, because one of the things that I've even seen within our group is the transformation of who we listen to and what we focus on now versus when we first started, who we were listening to And you're right. Your thinking changes by what you read, by what you listen to, who you hang out with, the discussions that you have.
For example, if I call Dave Mike right now, and we're talking about business, how long can that phone call go on for?
Forever.
All day.
Let's just say an hour. Let's say an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or we start talking about BS. Like, yeah, man, we talking about casino, we talking about gambling, we talking about whatever. Y'all probably can cut that conversation short, maybe 5. All right, Brandon, we got this webinar. We're just gonna head on out. Right? They know they don't have time for this. But what you do, you sitting there and you just accept it. You let them take your time, the time that you can build your business to get to your 100K. These people are distracting you and stopping you from getting there. And you can't even see it because you think it's just an hour phone call. You can have an hour phone call, but it could have been an hour sales call where you could have made that 2 or 3,000. But instead, you're wasting it talking to your cousin. You're wasting it talking to your friend. They're doing the same stuff they did last week. If they want to tap in, tell them to help you jump on a sales call. Shoot some content with me. If you want to tap in, we can just stop talking about that, bro. Come to my house, we shoot some content today. Oh, I ain't got time for that. You know I'm down bad. Okay, well, let me know when you up good. Okay? Let me know when you get there. Oh, I need help. Well, when you get help from somebody else, come back. Let me read a book.
Oh my goodness.
No, seriously, that's good.
That's just good, bro. My nephew been trying to call me for every day for the past 2 weeks. I just didn't pick up. Right now, I got 2,000 missed text messages right now, and 600 missed calls. This is over a period of time. You know what I mean? I don't let these things distract me, because if I let them distract me, like it seems like it's just distracting me. But mind you, I'm in a space now where I'm coaching other photographers and videographers, right? So while you're distracting me, you're also taking from other people's mouths.
Yes.
So now here's the thing: you see me right now, but imagine this person I was supposed to be. So you're also supposed to be a person that's supposed to be helping other people. But while you're letting these people distract you, you're actually creating a bad environment for other people.
Yeah.
Because you don't see it right now.
Yep.
Meaning David Mike was supposed to be on here doing this webinar. It was already a plan for their life 2 years ago. But had they let things distract them, they would have never been on this webinar.
That's safe. Yep.
They would have still been in the military. They would have still been making $50,000 a year. They would have still been eating them MREs or whatever they've eaten overseas. You would have never met Mike and Dave because they removed distractions.
Yeah.
Yep. You have to think to the future. Most people are broke because they keep thinking about right now. I need to make money right now. What is your life gonna look like a year from now?
Man.
100%.
What's so funny is we had Keenan on, and he was talking about real estate. Same principle. He was telling us about planning for the future. And so that takes patience. Guess what you just said? The same thing. Different context, the same thing. You cannot think about the right now. You really, really think about and strategize for the future.
Yep.
Yeah. I always tell people, whoever trying to get paid the quickest, get paid the least. Every time. All right. Hey, Brandon. So we got a question.
Go ahead.
Sure.
My bad, Dave.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
All right, cool. We got a question. All right. This guy said, I don't know exactly the context. So when he asked the question, he said, what about a corporate photographer? I don't know if he need help or whatever.
I'm not sure what that means.
So Dominique, can you give us more information on that while Dave asks his question? And I'll bring it back up.
It might have been something from what I said. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's talking about, should we hang with them too? I think that's what he's asking. You think so?
I think we were talking about that question when I guess when you were talking about you was the best, like how do I become a corporate photographer? Or how do I get how do I get those type of clients?
Let's just have him elaborate so we can be clear.
All right, Dave, did you have a question before I ask that? Because you can get your question off real quick. Because I got 30.
Yeah. How do you market?
Like basically like how to put yourself out there?
To get those high paying clients.
Yeah, sure. So what you want to do is, so everyone's on social media. So you want to use social media to be able to market yourself, right? So it should be a couple of things on your social media pages, right? So you need to have the work that you do. So whatever it is, the work needs to be on your page. Number 2, you need to have reviews, right? So we need to know that you are trusted. Okay. 3, we need to have like behind the scenes. So we need to see, what do you actually do this work? What does that look like? Right? We need to see like if you got like if it's camera equipment, if it's your computer, laptop stuff, where you showing up to, you showing up to clients' houses, whatever it is, we want to see the behind the scenes. We want to see branding of you, right? Branding of yourself, like do a photo shoot, do a content shoot with yourself, whatever. We need to be able to see who we're working with, because if not, it's hard to know, like, and trust somebody that we can't see or we don't know. Okay.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
5, you need like we need to educate others. So you need to show like value content and educate others on what you specialize in, because that makes you an expert in your field. Once you have this formula together on your social media, you should start reaching out to people, reaching out to your ideal client, because now you essentially create your client attraction system on social media. Then you start reaching out to clients on social media to be able to see if they need your help, right? And then hop on a phone call with them and close them for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000.
I love the numbers he quotes. Every time he talks high money. I was like, that's my guy.
I can't do anything under 1,000, bro. I didn't even be able to do it.
Okay, all right. So I got a question. What level of people do you teach to get in your industry? Like, do they just do it off a cell phone, or do they got?
Oh, you mean like if somebody wants to join like my coaching program, my shooters,
Yeah.
like photographers? Yeah. So I have everybody get to either level. So beginner, intermediate, and advanced, because the stuff that I know, most photographers don't know, regardless of where they are.
Okay, so that gonna lead me to my next.
Yeah.
That's
which is
all-
very
that's-
crazy. Now
So-
I'm gonna say the ones who join, the ones who are super advanced, they won't join, but I can help them too. Only the people who join are the intermediate and maybe the beginner. But people who are advanced, they feel like they know it all, and they'll continue to make less than $100,000 a year for the rest of their life.
Okay.
Wait, look, you gotta speak up when you get those gems. Say that again.
I said for the people who are advanced, right? The people who are advanced, they don't join my program, right? Because they feel like they know it all. So since they feel that way, they will continue to make less than $100,000 a year for the rest of their life.
I'm sorry, that's a bar.
Yeah.
That's a big bar, because we sometimes miss out because we think we know it all.
Yep.
True. Hey, Brandon, can I get people to text something to us so we can get them in contact with you? How can they get in contact with you?
So they can either text you or you can DM me.
All right, cool. Text Shooter to this number right here. Text
Okay.
Shooter to the number you see on the screen if you would like to learn how to get into the photography videography game and learn from the best. And learn how to put people on reoccurring. Hey, Brandon said, hey, look, if you get people on reoccurring, you do way less work and you don't have to go out and fight for people. If you put people on reoccurring, you get on so many shots a year, you already got money coming in. So you already know where your bread is buttered. But yeah, man, it's crazy. So yeah, text Shooter to that number and I'll let Brandon go ahead. My bad.
We can go wherever you want to go, man. Listen.
Yeah, I was talking. So hey, look, I'm gonna have a casual conversation with y'all. I was talking to one of my friends and he was like, yeah, man, I want to, because he owns a bar or something like that. He's like, yeah, man, I love this bar. I want to do it. I was like, yeah, well, you can, what you could probably do is you can set up a area in the back of the bar, and then you can put a green screen, a couple of setups or whatever. And I was like, you can rent that out to videographers and photographers. And I was like, better yet, you can help them find people for money, or you can just do it yourself. Outsource to them, because you got the clientele to get people to come into a bar and get drunk and just do whatever with their life. I'm like, all you got to do is throw stones at Macy's or whatever. Hey, are you tired of going to get your photos done and they charging you $1,000 just to get the flash drive? Well, you can just pay me X amount of dollars. You can get all your pictures and then create the editing company. I was like, man, Brandon turned me into a monster. I'll be trying to send people to you, but I don't think a lot of people actually get it. But I'm glad, man, that you came and exposed the industry. So
sure.
Can I ask one more question, Brandon? How important is branding to a business?
I think it's a tough question. I'm gonna go and say, because there's things that are way more important than that. So branding is important, but sales and marketing is more important. All right. So if you focus more on branding, that means make yourself look sexy and all this other stuff. But I can have some weak content on my page. If I'm focused on sales and marketing, I'll make more money than the person who's high level of branding.
I so appreciate you saying that because, and this is prior to
Let me
meeting
jump.
Dave and Mike.
Let me jump in real quick. So let's
Yeah,
say
go
right
ahead.
now,
That's important.
okay, right now you're at your house. You got like family pictures in the background. You probably in the dining room somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you just focus on putting out content every day, hitting up people on Messenger, doing sales calls and closing people at $5,000 a month, or whatever it looks like, then you'll make $50,000, $100,000 a month. I got the sexy background. All right, I'm spending money every single month trying to get my background look good. I'm probably gonna get a webcam, a different camera. I'm putting one video out a week, and I'm just focused on trying to have the most perfect content brand. I got the chain. I done bought all this stuff so I can look real sexy, right? And then I'm not doing no sales and no marketing. At that point, you make more money than me. So if I focus heavy on branding 100%, I make no money. If you focus 100% on sales and marketing, you make majority money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you're picking something, what'll happen if you go 100% on what is that outcome? My outcome, I'll be really sexy, the sexiest of them all. You know what I mean? If you go 100% on what you're doing, you will do $100,000 a month.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
No, it's the same thing as like I was when I first met these guys, I was like, where is the website? And they were like, what? Because they were like, why do I need a website? Because I was like, hey, you're supposed to have this pretty website. They were like, Tanya, all we need is a landing page so we can make money. And I was like, oh.
Yep. Tanya, I will say this though, you're gonna need some purple. You see how we all did the purple here?
I know. I'm sorry. I'm in Cali. I like the brightness, the purple, but I saw you three brighter. Being together. Y'all didn't text me and let me know.
We learned from the best. He's been teaching me. Hey, I remember the one time I had my camera trying to take a picture of Mike. He's like, "Yo, give me that phone. You don't know what you're doing." And he actually taught me how to take pictures. And Mike be like, "Damn, boy, I see you." I was like, "Yo, I could be a shooter one day."
No, for sure.
That's dope. So we have the next speaker in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So need to ask your question to Brandon because he done dropped a lot of knowledge, and I'm so.
Yeah, I hope I help somebody, man. If I didn't, y'all just meet me at the strip club tonight in Magic City. Drinks on me. If I didn't add any value, for me to make it up, meet me at the strip club tonight.
Good night. Ask him this question.
If I didn't add any value, just meet me at the strip club tonight. I'll be at 9 p.m.
We can't hear you, Mike.
I said I'm trying to ask a good question because it got to be my last question. How important is customer service in your industry, Brandon? Photography,
any industry. Yeah, it's vital. Customer service is vital in every industry, bro. Not only customer service, I'm gonna say customer experience.
Yes, love that. Yes.
If you don't have like customer experience keeps the retention high.
Yeah.
People want to come back and work with you, even if you didn't get. Let's say you do. If I do photography, videography, and my work is 80% good. If I do credit repair, let's say my stuff is 80% good, I didn't get all the results. People will still come back to you because of customer experience. How many times are you touching people? How many times are you talking to? What's the communication? Or do they get media access? All this stuff is a customer experience. If you can walk people through a journey, people wouldn't want to go anywhere else. It's tough for people when people go to like the Chick-fil-A, it's tough for people to go to other fast food restaurants. I mean, the food is good, but like only because the experience is what you want the customer experience. The main thing that's making 5-star hotels different from these other hotels is just the customer experience.
That's it.
Different between Waffle House and others. It's like, yo, they're nice to you. When you go to Louis Vuitton, you know what I mean? You go to Foot Locker, they running around. What type of shoes you want? All right, you want 12? Hold on, what you want? What? 12? And you just running around. Man, I went to Giuseppe. They shut the line. They shut the store off. And like we didn't even buy nothing. We were just in there, me and my wife. I guess it was like too many people. We cut the line off. We're just gonna work with these people here and make sure the experience is nice. To make sure that I could have stayed in there all night and took a nap. Mm-hmm. They're like, just focused on you right now. That's all about you. Went a little bit, they giving me champagne with them. I got drunk before I got out of there.
Yeah.
It's like this $3,000 bag, these $2,000 shoes kind of make sense a little bit.
Yes.
That wine probably cost $5.
Wow.
Customer experience. It's very important to create a. I literally just talked to somebody yesterday, and I built her whole like credit repair system from start to finish. Like, what is it like when people come in and when they leave out? And the best way to do it is, what would you want?
That's it.
That's
That's
the best way
good.
to do it.
That's
What
good.
you don't want to do when somebody buys from you today, what do they get same day or next day? They can get a phone call 3 days later. We need something today. Portal access, emails, work,
Mhm.
something today. You mess around and get somebody $1,000 today, and then let's say you don't hit them back until the next day. The same day, I'm excited when I give you the money. And 5 minutes after that, I'm like, so what did you pay for?
Yeah.
An hour later, you can be like, what did he say? 2 hours later, you can be like, I think I got scammed, bro.
Yes. Yes.
I think they got me. Let me go back to that page again. They ain't got no website either. Man, shoot, I think they just got me, bro.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You give them some immediate, give them some same day, start there, and then create a system. Make sure you got touch points of contacting people multiple times throughout the month.
Yeah. That's good.
Call and shake.
That's good. No, that's good, because people think that you're in business just to make that immediate transaction. It is about the experience, because if you can get them to keep paying, coming back, that's how you know you're really serving. That's good work. That's good, Brandon.
Thank you.
Something as simple as getting people Slack access. That's free. Slack is free. Getting your VA to send a 2-minute loan video every week with updates. Scheduling a 15-minute call with a team member once a month. Those things don't cost you anything extra.
Yeah.
If you already got a VA, if you already got, you know what I mean? I'm like, so much. Add them to a Telegram, a Facebook group. All this, man. Stuff is free. Customer experience is free.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's good.
All right. Yeah. Hey, Brandon, we got somebody in the back room waiting. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Brandon.
Real time, man. And people need to,
man. Appreciate y'all, man. Listen, like I said, Dave, Mike, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all going way up, man. Whenever y'all get to $2 million a month, go ahead and buy me a Urus. Go ahead and buy me a Urus. I need 2 strippers in the back. My wife will need one too. Thank y'all so much, man. I will see y'all soon.
all right, Brandon.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. All right, man. Hey, Brandon be cracking me up. But we're gonna switch gears and get more serious, because we got a very special guest in the building. Like we didn't even think this guest was gonna be a guest. And when we heard who this next guest is, we had to do our research. We was like, hold on. This is not the same person we talk to every day. All right, so if you guys know, we got a partnership with Smart Credit. And we have somebody that we talk to every day to help us with our business, to help bring more value to you guys. But when we saw this next guest, we actually went to the website to figure out how high up is this person. All right, so we have Steve here, and I'm gonna give you a background of what he has done to make us really trust and believe in the mission that he has for. All right, so I'm not going to tell you guys about the things that they're implementing now. I'm gonna let him explain that, but I want to tell you something that I read in his bio that really, I was like, oh yeah, we need to do this. So Steve, he was an expert witness at a deposition for TransUnion on the FCRA litigation, and so what that means is on the consumer side, he can see all the things that these credit bureaus and credit CRAs actually do to hurt people. So in the process, he has been able to, I guess, be on the other side to help the average consumer. So when me and Dave tell you guys to look at the FCRA laws, and of course we're not lawyers, so we can't tell you exactly what to do. He's been in cases to where he saw the effects of violations of these credit reports. All right. So I hope I did Steve a justice by introducing him that way, but I'm gonna bring him up and let him introduce himself as well. All right, 1 second, Steve. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Howdy.
What's going on?
Living the
Steve.
dream here in cold Southern California.
That is a crazy statement. Tanya lived in California, and she turned around her camera and it was snowing. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was nervous.
we're going through a crazy spell right now,
Be
but
still.
we're grateful for all the water. So that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough act to follow here after Brandon. He was not only smart, he was entertaining. And I don't know that I'm both of those things. So we'll see what happens.
You'll be fine.
How's it going, Steve?
What's that?
I said, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. It's going great. I'm super excited to be here. I know you deal with Mary Lou a lot on the smart credit side, and I've actually worked with Mary Lou for probably 25 years. When I started out at TransUnion in 1988, that was a long time ago. I was 21. I was at TransUnion in 1988, and I built a team there and on the consumer side. And probably around 1992, I needed to bring somebody in to as an admin, and I hired Mary Lou. So I've literally, she worked with me as my first admin at TransUnion, going back now, 40 years ago? I don't know, 35 years ago, something like that.
Wow.
And here I am still working with her today on the smart credit side.
Oh, dope. That's dope. All right, so I got a question. So many people know you for the smart credit monitoring. They know your brand. How else do you help consumers with your brand?
I mean, when we talk about smart credit, I mean, what we're trying to do is empower people to take advantage of the credit. And the first thing you have to do is really understand your credit. And so many people don't understand it, and they don't know how to leverage that. I think that's a big part of what you all are talking about here today. And a lot of sites are really just kind of more focused on like the fraud protection, and they kind of like scare you, identity theft, all that sort of stuff. Just sign up, set it, and forget it. Well, that's kind of the problem with credit, is people tend to set it and forget it. And who all knows what's going on behind the scenes? And so at Smart Credit, we wanted to create a very interactive process where people can really dive inside their credit histories and understand how that's impacting life events. And it's not just, is there a late payment? Is there not a late payment? Is there a collection account? Is there not a collection account? There are things on your credit report that might be, quote, positive, but once you get inside, they actually have negative effects. For example, the balances on your credit card. So how do you understand the balances on your credit card? Although they're not necessarily negative, they're 30% of your credit score in the FICO world. So, you know, we have a tool that allows people to really interact with their credit. And we like to use the term gamify. Turn it more, not so much a game as in it's, you know, you're just playing around with it, but you have to be able to visualize and feel and understand and get inside it in order to really make smart decisions.
That's good.
Oh yeah. So we don't normally go into the credit monitoring much as the owners of the company until one of our employees said, what we can do is we can give our clients a guesstimate of what their lending potential looks like with the smart credit platform. And I was like, so
cool.
it's new, or did you? I ain't gonna say did you even know about it, but I forgot what the tool was called. Tiny, do you remember what it's called?
Our score boost.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Right. That's one of the features, you know, within Smart Credit that I get super excited about, because it really allows you to see how interacting with the balances on your credit report can drive your score up or drive it down. And we like to talk about who you can be, not who you are today. And, you know, go out and get your best offer with your best credit score. So why settle for something less than you need or you want, or, you know, is the best offer on the table today? If you can take some simple steps, and with a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, you can achieve a better score. Why not know what you can get tomorrow, today? And Score Boost absolutely helps you do that.
I like the fact that it shows you what's possible, because sometimes when you're in a bad situation, you're so focused on the bad situation, it's hard for you to see the future. So with that tool, you can see what's possible. So I like that. But what other tools do you guys offer that helps the consumer move beyond, you know, their current situation?
I mean, one of the things that we have is, I mean, we you know, when you're talking about your credit score, there's really three things that go into your credit score. You've got your positive information, your negative information, and the balances on your credit card. So we have another feature which we call Score Builder, which focuses on the negative items on your credit report. So let's call them out. Let's pull our head out of the sand, right? Because that's what a lot of people do. They put their head in the sand, and it's like, I don't want to think about it. I mean, nobody likes to have to think about, collection accounts and stuff like that. But let's be honest with ourselves. They exist, and if something's going to change, we got to do something about it. So
Yes.
Score Builder is going to help call it out, and we're going to give you some suggestions on how you can tackle those negative information. Now, many of our members in Smart Credit, they partner with a credit restoration company, a professional, to help them with their credit and stuff. And other people may just choose, they kind of want to take it on their own. No different than with your taxes. You can go out and hire a professional, or you can, send your own forms back to the IRS. So either way, Score Builder is going to help you identify those things. We have another cool thing called Money Manager, which allows consumers to attach all of their bank accounts, the checkings, their savings, and then they can look at all of their transaction history real time in one spot. And that's really powerful when it comes to budgeting. And one of the the truths about credit repair that sometimes people don't really want to talk about is like, credit repair will help you fix your problem historically, but it doesn't fix anything going forward. You have to make lifestyle changes. It's like, okay, I've made some, mistakes, or could have made better choices in the past. It got me where I am today. Let me work on repairing my credit. That's great, right? But you got to teach the old dog a new trick.
Yes.
And so, and that's budgeting and making smarter decisions about how you use your money. And so with Money Manager, you're bringing all of your transactions into one place, being honest with ourselves. Where's all this money going? Apparently with Brandon, it's going to strip clubs. But,
You got to entertain.
But if we can be honest with ourselves.
He's budgeted that. That's in his line
Yeah, he's
item.
budgeted,
Monthly
so it's all
budget
good, yeah.
expenses. Yeah.
We can better tackle those things and be smart about how we spend our money.
But that is a good call out, because we do talk about, what can we do to prevent getting in financial stickiness, in the future, in budgeting and money management, and really thinking beyond the right now. All those things will help us. And it's great that you guys have tools like that.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for acknowledging that. I mean, you can have all the tools in the world, and if you don't take ownership of the problem, and choose to take action, right? You first got to say, there's a problem here, right? I am part of this problem, and I am going to commit myself to making some sort of change and taking action. The tools then can help you take that action, but you still got to, as a person, you've got to make the choice and acknowledge that something wasn't working right.
Yeah, the one thing we do say on the phone is like 65% of your credit is in your hands. I don't care what I do over here. You if you don't do some things, it doesn't matter. But that's good. That's good.
So, considering the position that you're in, right, you get a lot of data. You receive a lot of data, and off that data, why do you think people are struggling with credit?
Well, I think one of the big reasons that people are struggling with credit is nobody's taught them how to manage their finances from early on. You go to school, and the last thing people are talking about is, how to budget and how to spend your money wisely. We live in a consumer-centric society and stuff where there's a lot of pressure to go out and spend money and to buy nice things that, I got 7 kids. I see the things that they like to buy and that they want to do. So.
How many?
Yeah, 7. Yeah. I have 5 girls and 2 boys. I had a lot. Yeah. Who would have thought? And so, and they range from as young as 15. My oldest is 33. And, and so you can see the struggles that they have and what they weren't getting. And so fortunately, I've I've been involved in credit all my life. Fortunately, I had a father that taught me about money and stuff early on. That doesn't guarantee that I'm not going to make mistakes, and I've certainly still had to learn some things the hard way. But it gave me a good foundation, at least where I could recover and make smarter decisions going forward. And I think that's true for my kids. But for most people, I don't think they get that. They don't. They, by the time they realize that they're mismanaging the money, that they don't have any money in savings, that, it's too late. And, and then there's kind of a ripple effect. And, you see that with, I remember I worked with a guy when I was at TransUnion. He was a close friend of mine, but he lived paycheck to paycheck. And we got paid every other Friday, and every Friday he would go down to the payday loan store and he'd take out a $300 payday loan, right? And then he would turn around and he would then have to pay back the previous payday loan that he had. And it was a cycle over and over again. And all he was doing was essentially just paying the interest on that payday loan every time he paid it back. And it was like every paycheck, he just threw away like 40 or 50 bucks, not to mention the time and stuff, right? And it was a cycle that he was in. And despite the fact he worked for TransUnion and he talked to consumers about credit, he was still caught up into that. So it takes folks like you all really speaking truth to people that hopefully will wake them up.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. All right, so I got a personal thing I want to ask you. You are a part of the International Association of Financial Crime and Crimes Investigation. What has that taught you about the identity theft and how it's running rampant in the States?
I mean, identity theft's been around since the 70s, and one of the first things I did when I was at TransUnion is I was part of creating what we call their Fraud Victim Assistance Department, which was a dedicated group of people that helped consumers recover from the impacts of identity theft. I've learned a few things, and it's like, it's there, it's never going to go away. You can't let it consume your life and create fear and I'm just going to no longer interact in society out of fear of identity theft. I think for the most part, you don't see so much of that now, but 15, 20 years ago, there was a lot of people that were really fearful of it. And, and then they struggle to interact. They would go to acquire a loan, and the lender would say, "Hey, I need your Social Security." And they're like, "No, I'm not going to give you that," right? And then they couldn't benefit from that from credit. But I think the other thing that it taught to me is you can't deal with things all on your own, and so people would experience these things and. No different than if you're sick and you got to go talk to a doctor about it. It's like if you experience an identity theft, you need some sort of professional to help you off and walk through it, because it can be a really daunting challenge to have to recover from. Yeah. And fortunately, there's a lot of people that want to help out in our industry. So that was good. Now the flip side of that is there are a lot of people that are claiming they're victims of identity theft that really aren't. Right. And I used to get really frustrated on the credit repair side when there were companies out there, and that's how they were doing credit repair, claiming fraud, because that just cheapens it for the person who's the real victim. Right. And so if you're thinking like, hey, I've got some bad stuff on my credit report, and I'm just, I read something somewhere that says just claim it's fraud and it'll come up, I challenge you not to do that. There's other ways to clear the credit.
Yeah. And I think part of it is that if you don't know, whoever is teaching you, you just kind of go with what they tell you. It's the more information and the more correct information that comes out there allows people to make better decisions. I have a question. You raised 7 kids. I'm back on that. Tell me.
I have to be honest. One of them's through my oldest son getting married, so I really only raised 6. But
it's okay. Yeah. However, my question is, how did you intentionally help them with understanding finances and credit? Tell me what you intentionally did to make sure that they knew about it.
Probably the number one thing I've done is I've told them no. I don't give them everything that they want. And I tell them that, to them, they might see that, you know, I own a car and, you know, I pay $90,000 for this car. And then they go, well, you know, I need you to go out and buy me this new pair of shoes and it's, you know, for $100. And they think, oh, well, you know, it's only $100. You spend all this money on other things. And it's like, well, yeah, but I've worked and I've earned that and stuff. You haven't. And so, you know, it's, I try to attach, you know, there's a struggle on my end in work and effort, and everything that goes into that money that they're using to pay for things. And so, you know, I'm going to turn around and say, okay, you want $100 for a new pair of shoes? What are you going to do for it?
That's
How do
good.
you know,
That's
you know,
good.
what are you going to do? Right? Certain things, like if it's like their sports or if it's like school stuff and everything, I don't ask a whole lot of questions because, you know, I think that's just, you know, that's a given and stuff. But when it's more of the lifestyle things, yeah, you got to earn it. Nothing comes free in life. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation with my kids just a couple of days ago as we were driving home from one of their soccer trainings about how I think some of the younger generation, and this just may be being old and I'm not seeing it correctly, but I feel like some of the younger generation, they just want stuff handed to them. And they don't have the work ethic. And I go, you can either be average or you can be exceptional. Anybody can be average. You can just go through the motions, right? But if you want to be exceptional, you have to put in the work. Nobody hands you. There are a handful of people that just get lucky. There's a handful of people that just have God-given talent somewhere or whatnot. But 99% of the time, if you want to be exceptional, it's because you put in exceptional work. You know, and you know, and that translates to then maybe making more money, and then they can go buy their own cars.
Yeah, we got a saying that Dave says a lot, so we all just adopted it. It's called the work works. No matter
You work it.
what you do, once you work, the work can work on you. You know, it'll change you for the better. I think it done a lot for me and everybody here, I believe. Yeah,
I got my first job when I was 13, and I was back in the day when people had newspapers delivered to the house. So I delivered newspapers. And after school, I had to get on my bike and I had to ride like 4 miles. I had to go to some random guy's house or lady's house, and you pick up a stack of newspapers. You then have to fold them, put a rubber band around them, stick them in the bag around your handlebars. And then I had to drive 4 miles back to where I lived, and then you'd go around house to house and throw out the papers. But what really taught me work ethic, though, is once a month you had to go through what they call collection. You had to knock on everyone's door. And I had like 50 customers, and you know, it was like $2.75 or $3 for paper way back then. But you had to knock. I need my $3. And if they weren't home, you had to come back again and again and again. And if I didn't collect that money, that was coming out of my pocket. That was coming out, exactly right. And so, you know, and on the weekends, you know, people wanted the paper at 6 a.m., you know, so I had to get up at 4:30 or 5. And so I didn't like it at the time, but I'm so blessed that I had to go through that because it taught me work ethic and that nothing's just handed to you.
Yep.
So, smart credit. I don't know if you could talk about this, but what are some of the big things that are coming in the future for smart credit?
Let's see. With smart credit, we're working on a product that has FICO scores. It'll have to be a separate product. We can't call it smart credit. FICO doesn't allow you to have a Vantage score and a FICO score in the same product. So we're going to have a product that'll look and function pretty similar to smart credit, but it'll be called something else, you know, and it'll be powered by FICO scores. So we hope to have that by the target date is August of this year for that. We are working on expanding. I don't know if any of you have interacted with our privacy tool, but that's one of the newest features that we have, in which we scan the internet for data broker sites that are reselling your personal information. Believe it or not, there's hundreds of those that are out there. And it's kind of a dirty little secret, but what really scares, you know, me as a parent is these data broker sites have information not just on me, but my kids, where they go to school, all of that sort of stuff. So we have a tool called Privacy Master, which you have to enable. So if you're in Smart Credit, go in and make sure you enable the identity theft insurance and the Privacy Master. We scan every 14 days for any of these sites. And so we're expanding that product to identify even more sites. Right now, we're scanning something like around 52 or 54 sites, and we want to get that up to somewhere around 100 or 120 sites. It's just crazy how many places are selling your personal
Your data.
information.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. We are going to expand our loan offerings. We have what we call a MyLona, which is really an offer wall. And so we want to make it really more interactive in terms of, here's your credit offers today, here's your credit offers tomorrow, based on how your score could change. And
That's good.
we have some of that today, but we want to make that a whole lot more interactive and just make it clear as day. It's like, right now you can get this credit card with a 25% interest rate and a low credit limit. And if you do the things we tell you to do, in 6 months, you're going to have this credit score. And this is the exact offers that you'll be able to qualify for then. So
That's good.
we're definitely working on that.
All right. We have a question from somebody in the comments. It says, why do most credit monitoring systems use a VantageScore?
I think it's for a couple of reasons. One is it's just cost. So FICO is a third-party credit score, and they charge the credit bureaus and any users a pretty steep royalty to use a FICO score, whereas the VantageScore is developed by the 3 credit bureaus. And so the credit bureaus, in essence, they have no cost associated with fulfilling a VantageScore. So when when Credit Monitor Insights buy that score from the credit bureaus, it's really cheap. On the other hand, if we go out and we buy a FICO score, if I were to take Smart Credit and just say no more Vantage and just put in FICO, there's about $10 more in cost that we incur just from the FICO royalties. So that's probably the number one thing. The number two thing is that, believe it or not, the Vantage score is actually used in a lot of credit type transactions. It's just not the glamorous one.
Oh.
Yes, like probably close to a third of all credit transactions involve, if not a little bit more, a Vantage score. And Vantage is used a lot in insurance. So like if you're going to go out and car insurance, house insurance, whatever, they're almost always using a Vantage score. Again, because of the cost back to them. If you're looking for a job and they're running a credit score, it's almost assuredly going to be that. If you're looking to rent an apartment or rent a house and the landlord is doing some sort of tenant screening, it's almost always going to be a Vantage score. So, there's a lot of meaningful things that are actually using your Vantage score. It's just not the ones we most associate a score with: a credit card, a car loan, or a home loan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm guessing they do that because of the sheer volume, and they're not really worrying about a risk of not being paid back because you're probably applying for a job or something like that, something low risk anyway. Okay,
credit scores are simply just designed to, in a numerical value, articulate back to some sort of lender or somebody wanting to make an informed lending decision, right? That what's the likeliness somebody's going to repay this debt?
Yes.
And and there's all kinds of studies that Vantage will put out about how the predictability of their scores and the effectiveness of those scores and stuff. And frankly, I think it's you kind of have your name brand versus your no name brand. But like you go into Costco and you're buying Kirkland, their little brand. Sometimes people swear that's even better, right? But
yes,
others just want to stick with the name brand, and
right,
because that's what they know.
And one of the things that Tristan said earlier in the conversation is that, the score is really not the real thing that people look at when they want to loan you money or things like that. It really is the details on that report, because depending on what the loan is, the details tell the story if you have a high probability of paying the loan back. So I know for us, we've used the details in order
Mhm.
to assist our clients because that was more important, and then let the score do what the score does.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, and those details, particularly like in things like mortgages and stuff, really matter. The credit report and the credit score is just one factor, and
Yeah.
that So yeah, you want to dig down deep. And the newest thing is that lenders are starting to move towards what's called trended data. And trended data means credit reports today are really just a moment in time. Aside from the historical late payments, all it's telling you is your balance on a credit card today. All it is telling you what the credit limit on a card is today and stuff, right? But I like to use this analogy. So imagine somebody's got a credit card with a $20,000 credit limit, and they've got a $12,000 balance. Okay. Now you could just say, look at that right now, and if you're doing your math, that's like 60%, debt to available credit ratio. And you go, okay, scoring models don't like anything that's really over like, 30%, something like that. It's probably going to ding your credit. Okay. But now, if somebody last month owed 10,000, and the month before on that credit card owed 8,000, and the month before that 6,000, right? You can see where that balance is steadily going up. That tells you one thing. But what if 4 months ago that balance was 20,000, and then it was 18, and then it was 16, right? And all of a sudden the balance
going
has
down.
been going down, right? Now that moment in time it looks exactly the same, but those are two different stories. Somebody paying down their debt versus somebody paying up their debt, or borrowing more money. And so a lot of the scores now are factoring in this trended data. And Advantage has a score called it's Vantage. It's version 4.0 that factors in that trended data. And the U.S. government just said that Vantage 4.0 score can now be used in mortgage transactions. And FICO's come out with, I think it's called like FICO 10T or something, like some new FICO model. Again, that's trended data. So that's something to keep in the back of your mind, that your historical balances, they're going to start becoming a part of your lending,
Your history.
your historical credit limits and stuff, all of that. So that's the digging deeper that in part that you're talking about.
And that goes back to the money management is about to be exposed.
Yeah. I was on a FICO website and I was reading up on FICO 10T, and I was like, okay, now it's getting serious. You should start fixing your credit now so they can have something good to track. But I didn't think about the way you presented it, Steve. But yeah, I think that's dope. But we're running out of time, and I want to ask you a question, Steve. And I don't dare to ask how much you charge per hour. I would love to get you back on if it's possible, or we can get.
Of course.
We're building a community, and we want someone to come in and teach. Of course, it'll be like pre-recorded, but we want everybody in our community to have access to the information that you just said, not just on YouTube, but if we can get more in depth, if our community can ask questions, and then you just come in and answer all those questions and interact with us a little bit, that'll be a blessing.
Yeah, well, I'd love to do it, and I don't charge stuff for like that. I learned for my health, right? Being of service to others is an important part of who I am, and it frankly keeps me sane and everything. So, yeah, when you're feeling depressed, when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling slow and all of that, just go out and help somebody, do something, right? And that's going to lift you up. So, when I do this, right, I actually get paid. I don't charge people. So anyway, let me know. I'll be more than happy to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Because my grandpa used to say, if your worries was on like a stone or a boulder, if you put it on your shoulder and everybody went to one singular area, when you start seeing everybody else's boulder, like what the problems are and the pain are, like you will realize really quickly that what you complain about is like a pebble compared to others.
Yeah, amen. That's so true.
All right, Dave, any last words before we get to the next?
Thank you for having me on, and props to you all for getting the word out on all of this stuff. And it really doesn't matter what we talk about; it's just the fact we're talking about it and stuff. And you never learn something. You're never going to go in anywhere and like in 30 minutes, and all of a sudden the world's going to change or something like that, right? But it's all these little bits and pieces and stuff you learn, and you keep stacking them on top of each other.
Yeah.
And so, I hope that today, there was some little bitter piece that somebody was able to stack on their other learning that, will get them 1% better, today.
That's so good.
Better tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
All right.
Appreciate
Have
it.
a good day.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, hey, that was dope, y'all. Woo!
Like, I did learn a lot more about smart credit. And so that's what I appreciated. It's not just about the monitoring. They're really doing something to help the community. So I'm happy about that.
Oh yeah, and most importantly, we use other credit monitoring softwares and stuff, but nobody that is at that top level ever reached out to us and say, "Hey, I wanted to make a change." So
yeah,
I want everybody on here to pretty much I ain't gonna say be thankful, but let's pay homage to Dave. Let's just say thank you, Dave, in the chat, because you put us in a position, like you single-handedly put us in a position to talk to almost anybody who can provide value to the people who wouldn't know where to even look. So for us to show homage to Dave, we got one special guest, and we want you guys to share this live out to 10 more people, because our next guest is even better. All our people we are connected with actually have tremendous value. And this next guest, I would challenge that anybody who's listening can make, she's going to challenge you. If you listen to her, she'll show you guys how to make $100,000 in less than 4 months by starting a tax prep business. And you'll build that business up, and then you can exit out that business to still live off the revenue that you put the work in to complete. So I want to invite entrepreneur, philanthropist, Courtney Rose. I call her Coach Courtney, and that's probably how y'all know her on social media. So I'm about to bring her up.
Hey,
what's going on, Coach? Coach Courtney? You muted.
What's going on?
hey.
How are you, Dave? How
What's
are
up?
you? How are you, good people?
What's up?
Hey,
What's up?
sister, good to
Woo,
be
that
with you
energy,
guys
boy.
today.
I was hoping I did her right, because I knew she was gonna come in here and bring a maximum.
Listen, you have to come. This is life. So yes, you have to bring it. But I'm super glad to be here. So
I'm
thank
super
you.
glad to have you. It's been a minute since we saw each other.
It has. It's been a minute, but we are back. Life brings things together, so I'm super grateful.
All right.
Hey.
Cool. All right, Coach Courtney, did I do a good intro? Is there anything you want to add to it? But no.
I feel like that was perfect. I mean, we are who we are. We're people out here making a difference. You know what I mean? Serving the people, and the work is going to really speak for itself.
Yes.
All right, cool. So can you give yourself an introduction? Because I want them to hear it from you too. So what energy didn't transfer from me to them, might transfer to somebody else.
Cool. Well, I am Coach Courtney Rose. I have been a business owner for over 11 years. I started my business at 23 years old, right when we lost everything. And to make a long story short, I help individuals build dynamic tax businesses, working 4 months of the year, creating a 6-figure income, working 4 months of the year, so you can be able to buy back the rest of your life. So you can be able to buy back freedom, so you can be able to live, grow, learn, heal, do all the stuff that we generally never get a chance to do. So I am a philanthropist. I believe that life is about giving back. We wouldn't be here today if somebody didn't give us something, right? And, it's a privilege to be here with you guys.
Hey. So, talking about how to get $100,000 in 4 months, what's the process? What does it look like to do it step by step? What's the process look like? How did you even get into this and know about, like, how can I change somebody's life in 4 months? I know that was a lot, but like.
Yeah, for sure. So I got into this because honestly, low key, there was a gentleman, I went and got my taxes done, and there was a guy that I met, and he's like, as I go get my taxes done, I sit across the table from him, and he's like, man, there's something really special about you. I want you to work for my tax business. I'm like, okay. So I literally just got to sit in and work with this guy and learn information. And he made this great, crazy good like proposal. I'm going to pay you all this money for all these people. Me being hungry, making $12 an hour. My mom, we had just lost everything after the real estate crash, right?
Mhm.
I was hungry, so I'm bringing in people. This guy ends up not paying me as promised. I
Mm.
could have been mad, pissed, sad, defeated.
Mhm,
Actually,
mhm.
still selling that story. I said, bet this guy literally exposed me to an industry that is going to change my life. I didn't make the level of money that I wanted to make year one, right? Working with him. But the fact that he exposed me to an industry, it was game over from there. And literally that next year, I literally cashed out my 401k. It was like $5,000 after taxes, maybe like $3,000. I, negotiated, got a brick and mortar, found people, recruited people, built a team, had them listening to motivational people. And literally I was 23 years old and I built this thing out. Our first 60 days, we hit 6 figures in business. And, and it's just been a rinse and repeat of build, serve the people, and basically the business just does its thing. So I was exposed to this industry by default. And then, I feel like this industry chose me. I didn't choose it. It's been like the best, it's been the best journey of my life.
Oh man.
So you was 23. I don't know how you are because I ain't gonna ask you, but you said over 11 years. I know you gained so much information. You gained so much. So how can somebody actually make $100,000 in 4 months?
The first thing, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. The first thing that you have to have in this life, you got to have drive. You got to have a mission. Because you can be presented with all the information in the world, but if you let that information sit on a bookshelf, sit down on a piece of paper, that information is not going to do anything with it. So we have to take our drive and pair that drive with the information. It's the application. And then you literally just serve the people. I feel like the best way to build a business is just by serving people.
I love it.
It's really simple. Serve the people, literally treat every single person that you serve as though you treat yourself how you want to be treated. And by default, the business is going to grow. It's really, really easy. So basically, I don't know. I've just done it. Serving people, learning information, serving people. So when the 4 months is up, right, you go hard, you serve the people for 4 months. Then guess what happens? Then by default, you have the other 8 months of the year to be able to go back to the drawing board, learn, improve, sharpen your skills, deal from your trauma, the stuff that messes you up in life, the fears, the stuff in your head, right? So you can be able to build a business.
Oh my goodness, Courtney, you're such an inspiration. That's why we're gonna say the best for last, y'all. So how I got 30 questions here, so I'm just trying to pick the best one. All right. How important is it having a niche in your industry?
The riches are in the niches. I feel like it's so important. It's so important. Let me tell you why. When I had hair, I don't know if you guys noticed, there's definitely a difference, right? When I had hair, right? I took it all off recently. Another story for another day. But when I would go to like my specialty stylist that would do extensions only, she only did my sew-ins, then I would pay premium dollar, but the work that I got was going to be amazing versus when I need something real fast and when I just go to this random person that does relaxers and does sew-ins and does locks. And I just got anything, his kids running around. It was a whole different experience. So I began to recognize, man, I only want to work with people that operate in their niche, because that's going to allow me to be able to experience a level of service where I'm going to want to come back. I'm going to want to refer people. And I feel like that taught me as well how to do business. Man, people want to work with experts.
Yes.
Think about it like that. Like who really wants to go to like the buffet? Like the buffet is where you go, like when you really can't go, or you really want to go, where your budget can actually take you, right? So I'll just settle for the Luby's, or I'll just settle for the hometown buffet versus I really want to work with this person that knows their stuff. They're really, really good at it. And that's that riches is in the niches. So I feel like it's so important because you just get an all around different level of experience. You get a different level of information, and it makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Wait, Coach, can I ask you a question? If I'm a novice and I want to be an expert, tell me what I need to do. Practical steps.
Practical steps. A, I'm going to say lock in on one thing.
Yes.
So first, you're a novice in what? Okay, cool.
Just
the
say,
first
yeah.
thing that we're going to do was we're going to determine what is the one area that we're going to be a novice in.
Yeah.
What's that one thing? And we're going to commit to that. We're going to line out everything that we currently have on our plate right now, and we're going to have to make space for what we want. So if we're new at something, you're not going to get better at what you're good at unless you make time for it. But
Yes.
time. So cool. Let's iron out what's currently in your life that's consuming your time, right? And after we actually line out, okay, I have kids, I have school, I have a job, I have 4 businesses, I do Airbnb and Turo and all these things. Let's identify what we need to remove off of your plate. And now let's take that time and let's commit it to that one area that you said you were actually going to commit to.
Yes.
Hold on that. You sacrifice your weekends. You sacrifice time with friends. You sacrifice. I use my weekends and my evenings to get better, to set myself up for the next day.
So good.
So if you're a novice, then you're going to have to commit and you're going to have to sacrifice. And you sacrifice by way of identifying what's on your plate and identifying, okay, cool. How do the things on my plate currently serve where I'm trying to go? If I want to build a credit business, if I want to, whatever it is that you want to do in this life, something has to be removed off the plate. And so you can only do that to become better with where you're going by simply identifying what's on your plate, removing the things that don't serve the mission, don't serve the goal, and putting more of where you need to go on your plate, studying, working on your credit, studying the tax law, connecting with other people in your industry. Does that make sense?
That's totally makes sense. And the only reason why I asked you that, you were so intentional when we talked. Every time I talk to you, you do nothing by accident. You're very intentional. And so when you were saying, I want to work with the best, like I could hear people in the chat going, yes, I want to work with the best too. But it costs. It costs you time to be the best. And it will also cost you something to be the best. And so I just wanted to help people to understand you get to choose to sit with the best because you've invested in yourself in order to be the best. So now you got choices of who you get to hang out with. And I had to just point that out. They don't know what I know, but your intentionality is something that is just amazing. And I wanted to bring it out, and you did an excellent job. Excellent.
Thank you. I gave you a lot of work, so I apologize. Thank you.
I know. That's good because it's not an easy thing. People just see who you are and just like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to be that. No, boo, that's years of making decisions of saying no to something else in order to get good. So
that's huge. It's true.
Oh yeah. I usually tell my friends and family when they ask me about business and business development, I say some of those costs are quote unquote friends. And even when you focus on the best and you put all your time and effort in it, that what you thought was a cost really wasn't a cost. You know what I'm saying? It was probably dead weight that you got rid of. We so try to hold on to people and things and try to pull them into our next season when they're not supposed to come with us. And I think we all go through it, but once we get to the other side, it's so great. But I want to ask some more questions. I don't want to dominate your time. So Dave, questions? Anybody in the chat? Matter of fact, in the chat, any questions about entering and exiting the tax business? Well, making $100,000 in 4 months in the tax industry and then exiting the tax industry so you can live your purpose and to upgrade your life. Can you explain the difference between like individual taxes and like business taxes? Because when we started paying people to do our business taxes, the cost was like high. Like I'm talking about high. And what they said was, well, I mean, if you're in the 1% now, you're gonna, you gotta move accordingly. So how does that happen? And how can you explain that to somebody who wants to do business?
Sure. So I totally understand why business taxes are higher than personal taxes. And the reason being is because it's a new level of responsibility. You know what I mean? You're saying yes to these people that have people that they pay, right? So I think the difference between the two is, first off, it's a matter of, I feel like that question is so it's so layered. I want to be able to sure I go the direction in which you're asking. But what I can say is this is individual taxes, it's simply, you're filing your taxes for yourself personally, and basically your family, versus business taxes. You're saying, hey, I'm responsible. The person that's taking care of your taxes saying, hey, I'm responsible for managing this whole entity's finances. And then everything that comes from this entity's finances is going to affect the people that are attached to this entity. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So I feel like that's super important for, that's why there is a big cost variance, because you recognize it's more responsibility. But I just want to say this, because we're on the topic of credit and, taxes. I need to keep it a buck, all right, about the credit world. Credit saved my life being in this industry, because when I first started out as a tax professional, I told you about how the guy didn't pay me, right? You're young, you start making all this money, you don't have any money management skills. So I'm making a bunch of money the first 4 months of the year. But because I don't know how to manage my money, because I wasn't taught that, I was just hungry and I had a vision. Thank God for a banker, thank God for credit cards. And I had the discipline to be able to know when to swipe the card, because credit became my employer. They were paying my bills. Credit became my family's line of like, hey, you need something, Ma? Hey, you need something, Pops? Okay, cool. I didn't have it in the bank account. I knew when January got here, I'd be able to make more money again, but I had to rely on my credit to be able to get me to a position, to be able to get me to the next tax. Credit funded my dreams. Credit was my sugar daddy. Credit, like, let's be real. Credit was that for me. You know what I'm saying? Credit gave me like stability. It gave me stability while I was building something and there wasn't income, coming in. So, I feel like credit is so huge. And that's what's allowed me to be able to, be in a position where I've been able to just work the 4 months of the year because of it. So I just wanted to make sure I ironed that point out, because it is so huge. And that's what
that was gonna be my question. Like, how did the credit help you? But you already answered it.
Okay, yeah. It helped me. Because I started when I was 23. Going on 35 now, right? So my first 3 years, 4 years, 5 years in business, when you start making money, all your family's asking you, hey, can you help me with this? And you just know how to say yes, because nobody's taught us how to say no yet. We're taught, you say yes to family every time. So then you're broke at the end of the year. You're always broke and you're always struggling. And thank goodness having a personal relationship with the banker and getting my credit at a level and being able to communicate the vision, and her helping me get credit cards at $5,000, me managing that $5,000 well to pay the bills and going back saying, hey, Amber, I need more. And then her increasing that to $20,000, right? When my credit score was in the 500s, so that I can be able to, because I wasn't even thinking credit. I was making money, but then you're in the hustle and bustle of business. So credit has done so much for me, because when there was no income and I knew that I needed to get furniture for the tax office, I knew that I needed to get computers, I knew that I had a team, I knew that I needed to pay people, then I had to get creative with how I got this money off of this card and was able to pay this bill or pay this person, because I had a vision and I wasn't going to let my vision, die because of a lack of funds. So credit literally was like my sugar daddy.
I like how you make that so relatable. I was like, yes, okay, all right. So how can you help other people get access or earn 100K using your platform or your business?
Sure. So the first thing you have to do is, I just believe in general, like if you're already in a business, go all the way out with the business that you're currently in. Don't just jump in a new industry because it sounds cool. It sounds really sexy because you've seen somebody else do it. Like, with where you're at, make a hard decision. Like, okay, great. I'm currently doing this business. I recognize it's not for me. And you have to come to you have to spend time identifying why it's not for you. After you come to that reason and you decide to shift gears, then I say, come all the way over here. Come all the way in my lane. Don't try to drive in 2 lanes, right? So come all the way in my lane. After you come all the way in my lane, understand that it's going to be a level of commitment. You're going to get the information, like learning the tax law, like getting hands-on software so you can really be able to, learn how to be able to do these returns. You're going to get the exposure to the systems and the processes and the forms and all of that other stuff. But just make the decision when you come to this industry that you're going to be all the way in this lane versus in 2 lanes, because that's what's going to allow you to be able to get $100,000 in a month. and $100,000 in 4 months. Because if I keep it 1,000, so many people, they come over here, they hear that, and it sounds really sexy, right? 6 figures in 4 months. But if you're in 2 lanes, it doesn't matter what I give you. I could be telling you and showing you exactly what I do. You're in 2 lanes. It's not going to be possible. Your time commitment, your level of, everything. You don't have the time. You don't have the energy. You don't have the capacity to be able to really give this what you need to be able to give it. So that's the first thing that I do. I vet people and help them let's look at what's on your plate, because I don't want you to get excited, and I don't sell dreams. So let's look at where you're really at in life and how you're managing life. After we figure that out, now let's introduce you to getting things in order with your business. Now let me teach you what I do. Because how many people have you guys helped? You've given them the blueprint, you've showed them what to do, and they come back and next year they still have an excuse. Their credit is still bad. They still didn't run the play. They still didn't leverage your credit. Something happened and they had to help Uncle Jojo, and that's why their credit is bad. And now they're back at square one, and you're having to go all over through the process with them again. You know what I mean? So I just feel like, $100,000 is for the committed, and it takes you being able to identify what's on your plate and then fully immerse yourself in this industry, learning the information, in the mentorship, all that fun stuff. And that's what's going to help you get to the $100,000 in 4 months. It's going to come with a lot of work. You're going to have to commit to be excellent. You're going to have to commit to master the information. Don't overcharge people. Don't do the hookups, because let's keep it 1,000. Everybody wants a bunch of money when they sit down and do their taxes. You know what I mean? You're going to have to understand the tax law so you can be able to educate your clients when they come and sit across the desk from you, and maybe they're not getting a big refund. Well, you help them with the frame of mind, with information to understand, okay, this is where we're at today, but this is not what will be next year if you do these things, So I just feel like it's possible, but it's going to take work.
Hey, that's it. Ooh. Oh, you said a couple things. I'm gonna have to go back, and I'm gonna have to get a shirt that's gonna say some success is for the committed or something. I don't know how you said it, but that's how I heard it. And I was like, oh my goodness. Dang, Courtney. I was gonna ask you a specific question, but you said so much. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch, but I'm gonna have to go back to my notes to figure out the next question. Oh, also, I'm sorry. Everybody in the comments, if you got a question for Courtney, Coach Courtney, please put it inside the chat. But I do have one question from somebody. She said, what is the investment for the mentorship? I don't know if she's talking about us or you.
Yes.
Let's go with you.
Okay, cool. So can I just give just some tacticals just in general? Is it okay if I just tell them how to start a tax business, no matter what? I just want to give you guys a few key points if you want to start a tax business, because really it's super affordable. You can start a tax business for under $2,500, under $700, really, right? You just need to get an EFIN with IRS electronic filing identification number. It's all free. Right? Then you need to, after you get your EFIN, it takes about 45 days to get. Then of course, you're going to want to make sure you get a tax product software. That's what allows you to be able to process returns and allow the fee to come out of the tax return. Then you're going to need to get a tax products bank. This is the company that's going to collect the fee. So your client's money goes to their account, your money goes to your account, right? The fees that you collect. Then you're going to just need your processes and your systems, your forms, your due diligence, things that make sure that when you sit with the client, you're capturing their information, right? You're getting like their name, their social, the right information that IRS requires of you. You get those things in place, you have the basic fundamentals in place. And of course, you have to get your PTI in. You have to get a level of recognition with Internal Revenue saying, hey, they vetted you. They say that, hey, you're good to do taxes. Some states require a little bit more, but those are really the fundamentals. It takes less than, I'm going to say 60 days. The longest part is just getting your EFIN, getting that approved. And then you just need to learn information so that when you sit with people, you really know what you're doing. So that's for anybody that just wants to know the fundamentals of how to be able to start a tax business, because it's super, super obtainable. And it doesn't cost a lot at all. Regarding the mentorship, I don't know if they're asking you guys or myself, but I have a link that I'll be sharing with the team. And so then the team can just basically make that information relative, and put it out there to the people. But my goal is to talk about what you guys want so we can leave the mentorship alone for now.
And look, you provided so much value. I was like, go ahead and go. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the number to contact our team. Just text us taxes, and we're going to connect you guys with Courtney, okay? because I think, let's not. Oh yeah.
And Courtney, you did help a lot of people because one of the goals is to help people either access or make $100,000. And I think you said a lot, like you talked about the beauty of taxes, the 4 months, but you talked about the reality of you got to make some decisions because you said, hey, we're going to have to talk about here's the standard before you even sit in front of me. Tell me about, and I hope you understand what I mean. You know the standard because you've seen some things. Tell me the top 2 things you've seen that really cause people not to be successful in your industry.
This is yes, that's such a good question. So I feel like the key things that I found for all business owners, because let's be real, most people struggle. Most people start out making $3,000 a month in their business, and they're making that 4 years later. People that when we would sit across the desk with taxpayers that come to us and their income is $40,000, generally the next year their income is $41,000, their income is $42,000. So to answer your question in regards to like what are the key things that I've seen that keep people from success, I'm going to say how they manage life. How you manage life will be able to determine how you manage business, right? And what do I mean by that? If you're constantly distracted by life, when something happens, you're jolted. When like you have to be able to put life in its place. Life is going to happen. It's always some stuff popping off. People that don't know how to manage their life, they wake up and they hit the floor and they're just all over the place. Then you're going to run your business like that. So then you're going to think, oh my goodness, I can't get clients or I can't. But no, if we just sit down and we evaluate you and how you're doing life, you're always responding to life. See, business is really intentional. So you have to be intentional. You have to say, wow, I recognize that in life, things are going to come at me. So the moment I decide to take on business, things are going to come at me. So if you don't even know how to handle life coming at you, kids, distractions, illness, all this stuff, chaos, the breakup, if all that stuff already throws you off your rockers right now and you can't stay focused, then you're going to take that same mentality with you in business. So the first thing I say to somebody that's wanting to build a business, whether it's a tax business or any business, is let's look at how you're managing life. Are you all over the place? Are you always paying stuff late? Are you always running behind? Are you always behind the clock? And if you are, then that's how you're going to run business, and you're going to just think it's too much. It's not meant for you. People that are really, really successful in business is because they've learned how to manage their life. So you have to literally get order. You have to put your phone on do not disturb. Everybody can have access to it all times of the day. You have to begin to live with the calendar. You have to begin to plan. You have to begin to prepare. You have to begin to do all those things. You have to sacrifice your weekends. People that don't win in business is because they're not managing their life. The TV is on too much. They scroll too much. These are just, and even though I hate to have these conversations, and I love to just go right into numbers because I have a spreadsheet and I can talk to you about a C corporation versus an S corporation versus an LLC and how you can make the difference of your tax liability. But the fact of the matter is most business owners struggle and they never even get to a point where they're ready to actually become an S corporation because your income is still at $10,000 as a business owner. Because you haven't figured out how to manage business. You're not managing your finances, right? All these things carry over to how you do business. So, I see that how people manage business, their life is how they manage their business. That's the one thing that keeps them from success. And then in addition to that, they're not committed to what it is that they're doing. They decide to just jump into something because they want to make some quick money and they get excited with the money rush. But the fact of the matter is, if you're not committed to, hey, why am I really building this thing? Like, why am I deciding to build? Why am I deciding to fix my credit and then leverage my credit? Why is it that I'm committed to like starting a tax business? Okay, why am I doing this? Because you have to remind yourself that I'm going to go back to this reason why I started, even when things are really freaking tough and everything is going wrong and I want to quit and it's chaos in my personal life and the business is shams and the numbers have dropped. But because I'm so committed to where I'm going, I'm going to get through this. Then you just talk to yourself like that. People that get overwhelmed in their personal life, they get overwhelmed in business and then they quit. And then they're like, I just can't figure it out. It's because of the economy. And it's like, okay, cool. The economy happened for everybody. You just got to pivot. My numbers were down too this year, especially with me exiting the operation. When you decide to exit the operation, you're handing it over to a team of people. People don't like my other team. They want to deal with me. So cool. Am I going to fail? No, I'm going to pivot. You know what I mean? So business owners have to know how to pivot. You have to know that, like, okay, cool, there's no such thing as failure. It's just what adjustments do I need to make? And so often, business owners don't succeed because they get lost in the details of life, in the details of business. Things are going to go wrong. I think I heard somebody say, and then I'll be quiet, everything comes down. So why are we excited? Like the only reason anything ever goes up in life is because you're intentional with putting it up. But you don't have to put any work into like something coming down. You put a picture on the wall, by default, it's likely going to fall. The picture is never going to crawl up the wall and just hang itself there. Success never just happens for us. So you have to understand that in order to be able to build out this thing, build a business.
All right. It's time to go. It's time to close it up.
Yes, and then some. Yes, you answered the question. I can't believe you. Listen, that is the reality of business, and a lot of people don't talk about that. Like, they don't talk about your business really is a mirror of what's going on with you. And so we trying to fix the business. It's really fixing us. And you just did that just prolifically. I just love you. Let me mute myself.
Yeah, Courtney, I'm sorry. You just left us speechless. I don't know where my notes went. Oh, there they go, right here. All right. We surely don't want to dominate your time. We promised everybody that we'll be off here at 3, but we just had to have you come speak because we needed everybody to hear because I guess more than me, Dave, and Tanya, you it's all out there on your sleeves, and I wanted personally for people to hear your passion, and I wanted people to hear what she was talking about and kind of relate it to credit as well, because we don't just want to raise our credit score for just no reason. All right, what do we want to get? What do we want to be in 5 years? In order to in order to help you guys make the decision quicker, because the fastest way to success is to make a decision, and the fastest way to failure is to make a decision. Well, if you don't make a decision, that's still a decision. So look back 5 years ago. Look back 5 years in your past, and promise yourself that won't be you 5 years in the future. Because I've been down that same road. My family's been down that same road. So I just wanted to take the time out to say that because I'm gonna steal some of Courtney's energy while she got y'all out there. You know what I'm saying? And I want to say thank you so much, Courtney, too, for coming in and blessing everybody. I know Dave built a platform, and we definitely want to position it to where everybody that we learn from, even if it was something small, that our people can hear it, because it's more than just credit. It's credibility. It's more than just credit. It's the work. I don't know. Somebody in the chat said, I remember this YouTube channel was 3,000 followers. I remember this YouTube channel was 30,000 followers. We're coming really close on 100,000. And we just want to highlight people that we think are really successful and really doing it with passion in their lives. So I want to give it up to you. But Dave, got anything else for Coach Courtney? Because I'm about to take a nap, boy. Hey, y'all just been giving me I use all my energy today just listening. And for the people. Okay.
There's one more thing. I know you talk about how to get $100,000 in the 4 months, and I know you talk about after that. So what about after the 4 months? How do you sustain after the 4 months as a tax professional?
Sure. So the first thing is, and it's 6 figures in 4 months. So we say 100K for somebody that's starting out, right? But understand that's not. Yeah, okay, gotcha. Cool. So basically the first thing is through money management, I identify a budget for myself, right? So, okay, cool. Court's living expenses, X dollar amounts. It's $3,000 a month. So if Court lives off, I'm just throwing out there a number, 3,000 times 12 months. I need to be able to know that for sure. When the moment this money comes in, this money goes and it sits in an account, and nothing comes out of this account other than my living expense. Everything is on reoccurring draft, right? So then basically that's the first way. So, and then I had to put myself like on a budget, right? Just because you're making a bunch of money, in order for you to be able to keep this level of freedom, you have to live on that budget. So then basically, establishing a budget for yourself, and living on that budget, so you can be able to sustain yourself those months of the year, the other, 8 months of the year. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that answers I just wanted to, because I know other people like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this, but what about the other
Yeah. So and there's been times you make the money and then you have to literally, and this is the deal, if your expense is really high, then that doesn't mean you keep a bunch of high expenses. Okay, cool. How do we get this number down? There was a time period where I had to move out of one of my properties because I was like, I don't want to keep on paying this high expense. It doesn't make sense. I'm gonna move out of this property. I bought a smaller property. I lived in a really small property. You know, I rented out the other property so I can be able to cash flow, because I was just like, okay, cool. Like, let's get your living expense down. Why are you living off this dollar amount per month just because you can? That doesn't make sense, right? So when you become a tax professional, when you decide to work for a period of the year because you value your freedom, which we never get in this life. We're promised freedom when we're 60 or 59 and a half at retirement age, right? So then I had to just decide like, hey, let me live off of less. And so I had to make some hard decisions. I had to call T-Mobile and say, hey, I need your basic plan. I had to make decisions to be able to keep more of the money that I was actually working for instead of just giving it to everybody else. So I could get ahead.
All right. Thank you, Courtney. Dave, I'm going to stay in Jacksonville. I was going to move to a bigger spot just because I have more money in my bank account. And Courtney just decided for me that I'm staying where I'm at. I'm about to but thank you for that, Courtney. Any last words for everybody?
Me?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know what to.
Yeah. So last words. I would say the hardest thing you'll ever do in this life is believe in yourself. The easiest thing that you could ever do is make money. Find an ecosystem, find people that you can be placed around that will literally pour into you like these guys. Because your environment by default, it literally determines how far you go in this life. You're in the right environment. You could be the wrong seed, but in the right environment, and by default, you will win. You know, most of us are people, business owners, probably like Dave and, you know, and Drake, right? They're people that basically they had to decide they want something and they had to fight and they had to go pay and they had to go places to be able to put themselves in environments to be able to create what they wanted around them, right? And so I just think it's important that we get really, really intentional with like, hey, what is it that we really want out of life? Like, man, I knew that I was somebody that wanted to retire young, be able to heal from life happening. And so I had to say, okay, I'm gonna work 4 months of the year, and then I'm gonna spend the other 8 months of the year learning myself, healing, helping people. So I'm not a slave to the dollar. I had to sit down and envision it. So envision it, because what y'all are doing is possible for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to commit. Are you willing to commit? Are you a quitter? If you quit on your friends and you have a bunch of broken relationships, breakups, you know, you quit jobs, you'll probably quit in your business. So let's correct the quitter in your life. And if we can correct the quitter, then by default, you'll learn to never quit on your business. And then success is yours.
Oh, man. Mic drop.
That's it.
That's how you close a program. That's how you do it. This is how you do it. This is my last words.
All right. I don't know how to transition from this. Tanya, you want to get back at it?
No. Listen, first of all, honestly, thank you so much.
And how can they follow you?
You were a great conclusion. What were you saying, Dave?
How can they follow you, Coach? Because
we're going to send out, she's going to give us the information. We're going to send it out in a summary for everybody who texts. But from the bottom of our heart, thank you so much for being you, being honest, and telling us not only the good, the bad, but, you know, your intentionality. You will always, in my book, be labeled because of your intention. And you do such a great job with flat-footing, wanting to serve. Even at, you know, there was a couple of times people asked you about your business and you kept pointing them back to the guys. I say, thank you. I salute you for that, because that is what good service looks like. You're the epitome of it. Dave, excellent job. Mike, excellent job. To have a platform like this, to expose people to, here is the reality. Credit is really less about that score than all these wonderful things people can do. And look at all the people being impacted just because of one day y'all decided, hey, we're going to tell the truth about credit. So excellent job, people. Excellent job. So
over 1,000 people. You don't even know.
Hey,
excellent job.
question. Is all your links and handles the same across all platforms? Yeah. Okay. We gonna find them all.
So. No, I believe they are. Yes. I believe they are.
All right, so I'm gonna just let you know what I have planned. We're gonna cut up each one of these. Well, I'm gonna cut up each one of these videos by person, performer, or whatever, and we're gonna do our best to reach out to grab all your links for when we put out just your video. Okay.
Beautiful. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah. I got to take a nap after this, y'all.
Can you put the number up just so if people want to reach out to the team?
Okay, yeah, just text taxes to this number right here, and we're gonna get you into contact with Coach Courtney. Whether you want to get your taxes filed, business taxes, learn how to start the business, and we're gonna send you over her contact information as well. All right, cool. I think yeah, that still ain't enough for what you just did, but that's a start.
Man,
I'm super grateful.
All right. Oh yeah, we do need to have mods. All right, y'all. All right, Courtney, thank you for your time. I'm gonna drop you down, and then we'll probably reach out to you.
All right, good deal. Thank you guys so much. Keep rocking, keep building. I admire. I appreciate y'all. See you.
All right, thank you. Man, whew, I am floored. I'm glad. Hey, Dave, thank you so much for even thinking of this master idea. Speed of execution really was crazy. I was like, I don't know if it's gonna work, but we made it work. So, hey, any words for your people?
Whew. Hey, I appreciate y'all for showing up, showing out, in the chat, asking questions, and also, following the tribe, helping us build something that's just bigger than me. Most importantly, I just want to give people the information because I've been burnt. Me and Mike have been burnt so much, and we're tired of it. So what we want to do is just give a platform where people can learn step by step on how to do certain things so they can transform their life and get better and enjoy life that God created. And that's most important.
Yes, sir. So if you guys want access to any of our speakers that we had on today, except Steve, Steve gonna be there. Steve gonna be there. My bad. Everybody else has a program or a service. If you want access to it, you can just join 100K Blueprint, or just reach out to our team just using this number. If we didn't tell you how to reach out to them, just text the team their name, and we'll figure out how we can best serve you guys, because we realize that our lives will only get better if we serve more people, and then you guys can help your own communities, because between me, Dave, and Tanya, and pretty much everybody here, we got the same story. Nobody ever taught us this, and there's no school for entrepreneurship. So this is gonna be our school. We're gonna keep coming with more information. It's gonna be better and better and better every time. We bring in more people, and with more notoriety, people will come to our platform to serve you guys. So just share it with anybody, and then I'm gonna let Dave end it out. Go ahead, Dave.
Remember, grab your pen, grab your paper. I'm playing.
Oh, no, you're supposed to stay. You know you got something to drink. All right, y'all.
All right, we out, y'all. See y'all the next live.